Illuminati confirmed.
You've been confirmed.
It's that Illuminati music industry.
Illuminati confirmed.
How about this? Wanna join Illuminati? Call us.
No,
today.
dude.
I trust the media. I know a guy who knows a guy who's in Russia. Wait, you being for real right now?
I am being 110.
Illuminati confirmed.
We have like a feline type thing, an insect type thing, the Mantids, right? So the story behind the Reptilians is that they're actually from another dimension, right? But they were so bad that they got pushed out of that dimension into our realm. And it just so happened to be in this area where all these other guys come from. Now, they're a very war-like species. So they went down there and they kind of fucked shit up. So as everybody left, they scattered. These species kind of made their way to Earth. So we do have an insect, we have a lizard, we have a cat, we have a human. Maybe they decided, hey, we should make some cool shit, which is genetic modification, which is the marsupial, which is that missing link, which comes from Earth. And maybe the next, like, highly developed, species that comes from this planet that is going to be spacefaring isn't even human. Maybe millions of years from now, it's going to be the marsupial. And that'll just add to the gene pool of weird shit that's out in the universe. Now you have humans, now you have marsupials, now you have insects, now you have reptiles, now you have energy beings, endless. When you go down that rabbit hole.
Ask him if he's ever tried to make a homunculus. So they ask him, like, yo, have you ever tried to summon a homunculus? Bro, homeboy was fucking bobbing and weaving, and I was in the chat. I was like, that's an Illuminati confirmed tactic. We call it the Matador, because these motherfuckers bobbing and weaving at these questions.
Motherfucking Matrix, bro.
Never answered it, bro. I was like, well, I've tried, I did a thought form before, and and I was like, fucking Neo in the Matrix, bro.
Yo, son, have you ever jizzed on Play-Doh? What is the tactic? It's like you gotta like get a bunch of mud and then like make a big thing and then like try to animate it somehow, right? Like that's what that shit is, right?
No, it depends on which grimoire you read. I mean, there's grimoires that say you can use like a cow vagina or a goat vagina, and you
wait. You just fuck a cow or a goat?
Well, again, depending on which grimoire you read. So, some say to do that, and you leave it in like this room with like 15 windows on the south side of the house, and then it's there for 43 days, and then after that, some bees come out. You take those bees, you grind them up, you put them in this bucket with some dog dicks, and then you fucking do all this other crazy shit, and then eventually you let it sit for like another 40 days, 50 days, and then that'll turn into the homunculus, which you shape and form into the shape of a man, and then that'll turn into a thing where you put in a jar and you feed it blood. So it depends on which grimoire you read. That's going to tell you which instructions you need to follow.
Wait. How accurate was that description right there?
Pretty accurate according to the Labor Vacay, which is the Book of the Cows, which is a pseudo-Platonic text from the 11th to 12th century. And it talks about you need to find 50, I believe it was 50 dog dicks, the biggest ones you can find.
Big dog dicks?
the biggest dog dicks you can find. I did an episode on it with Paranoid American, and
So
it's a legit-
probably like those dogs that are like horses, the big ones. Do they have the biggest dicks on them?
Oh, I mean, I don't know how you would go about finding the biggest dog dicks that you can find, but
Measure it. You can bring out your ruler into the streets.
it says explicitly dog dicks. For what reason? I don't know. But,
Oh, that's terrifying.
I'm
that's
just finding I'm just a messenger, bro. Don't shoot the messenger type.
Totally.
Listen,
Hey,
you
what
are
are you guys gonna talk
listening
about today?
to Illuminati Confirmed. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Mystic Mark, here with Pope Christopher, back from his Mexican siesta. Whee!
Dude, it's the best.
It's the best. And the rabbit hole master himself. This guy can't keep his hands off of a rabbit hole. He's all up in that.
Hot-blooded.
Juan,
Tickling your rabbit hole, guys.
Juan from the Juan on Juan podcast.
33rd degree. Juan.
Damn, dude. You got it initiated.
Yeah.
Is that your mentor behind you?
It is, yeah. This is a guy I look up to. He's one of my idols, especially in this community. And he is a sensei. He is a black belt. He's like a 55th degree black belt or some shit, or 69th degree black belt. He does. He knows how to levitate or something like that. So this is a guy I really look up to. I think I'm going to keep this up. On par with Nicolas Cage. So
I heard that guy keeps at minimum 50 dog dicks at his house at all times.
trying to summon the homunculi, bro.
Hey,
A little bit
space,
woo-woo.
how do you feel about that?
Guy sounds like a real asshole.
Hey, who are these guys we're talking to today?
So today, and they'll be on the show soon. And we're trying out a new format here, folks. So if you like what you hear in this intro, go over to our Patreon. We each have our own respective Patreon where you can find the bonus shows for Illuminati Confirmed, where just us three get together, talk shit, talk shop, bust each other's balls, and talk about whatever's going on in the conspiracy world. And not just that, you can learn some shit too. But we're no experts. So that's why I've enlisted our guests today. They are Ben and Joe from the UFO Garage Podcast. And they'll be joining us in just a moment. Juan, I know you had a chance to research a little bit. Chris, did you get a chance to hear these dudes' podcast?
Oh, yeah. I did a deep dive.
What'd you think?
It's real interesting stuff. No, I have literally no idea,
bro.
I have literally no idea. They're, again, as per usual, like, Jim, we'll see. It's going to be exciting. Dude, this is one of my favorite topics. I love people that talk about UFO shit, dude. Come on.
Well, they don't just talk about UFO shit, brother. They talk to the legit UFO experiencers. Let's go to their Instagram. They got some hot clips. I want to play some of their hot clips.
Influencer, like they talk to people that have experiences, yeah?
Yeah, they talk to all the biggest UFO
Abductees, okay? You
influencers.
refer to them as abductees, all right? They're
No,
people.
I call them.
Like they're not. Are they talking to, like, I didn't know if you meant like Jeremy, Corbell or Bob Lazar, like these kind of like characters or whatever. Because, dude, honestly, today I was like scrolling on some shit and I saw Project Camelot. You guys remember that one from back in the day?
Yes.
Dude, they were all about like UFO shit. I used to watch that all the time, dude. And they were all about people getting abducted and the Dracos eat the Greys. They keep them in underground bases to do our, it's just like this whole. Well, like for the first thing to stumble on was like alien shit for me, or one of the first things, I guess, in this like occult rabbit hole, right? So it's like I like love hearing that stuff because it's like either it's so spectacularly, like incredibly imaginatively like fake, and these people are completely out of their tits crazy, or like fuck man, like they know some shit, Because you start talking about these like galactic federations and all this shit, dude, and it goes deep, dude. It's sick, right? It's like really.
It.
Mm.
Yeah. Is it in
Definitely.
your rabbit hole though, Chris? Is that the question?
Hey, it'll be up your rabbit hole.
So, you know, the whole thing with the UFO phenomenon, it's been one of my favorite things since I was a kid. I mean, my first conspiracy, right? But it wasn't Bigfoot. It was probably the Bermuda Triangle.
Ooh.
When I remember in the second or third grade, I was looking up and reading about, it was like Flight 20, whatever it was, where he disappeared. There was a squadron of them. Flying through the
military.
Yeah, it was Navy. So they're going through there, or Air Force or some shit, and they disappear. And bro, me being a kid, I'm like, man, what is happening out there, bro? Like, what's going on? Is it the aliens? You know what I mean? Is it all this stuff? And learning about Bigfoot. And so I've always been fascinated by it. Have I ever seen a UFO? I don't think so. Do I dress up as an alien sometimes? Absolutely. Who doesn't? You know what I mean? I'll put on my little fucking alien gear and I'll dress up as an alien and I'll pretend to be from Venus or some shit.
But these guys, Mark, to be fair, they don't have any personal experience with this shit.
We don't know yet. I haven't listened to every episode. Who knows? Maybe that's what they. Seems to me like they're more just enthusiasts and researchers. Very well versed. Like I said, they've talked to some pretty legendary ufologists, and I think they just got back from like a UFO conference too, so we could ask them about that.
Hey, do you guys ever think about like how annoying it would be to be like super into like one specific variety of conspiracy? Like, let's just say, like, in this case, aliens. Let's say your whole life was like basically dedicated to like gray aliens,
flat Earth.
or whatever, dude. It doesn't matter. And the point being is like, and you can't prove it. Like, there's just nothing you can do about it. Your whole fucking life is dedicated to fucking gray aliens, but there's literally no proof. You can go talk to other people online or in real life that may or may not have had a similar conclusion, experience, etc. But in reality, it's just like, just slips through your fingers. There's nothing fucking there.
Chris, ask yourself, bro. Ask yourself, legitimately. Ask yourself,
Thank you, babe.
How much of the conspiracy shit that we talk about do you believe in? On a scale from, 40%, 50%, 100%, whatever it is. Where are you at right now? Because
This is awesome. First of all, this is incredible what Mark's doing. I love it. And keep it up. I can't wait to see how far you go. This is fantastic, dude. For people that are not watching, Mark has green paper everywhere and it's picking up another background. So it's like, it's basically like cloaking technology.
it needs to be a flat Earth, though, Mark. Can't be a globe, bro.
That is amazing.
Get that globe shit out of here, bro.
Get that round Earth shit gone.
Brown. That's a fisheye lens, bro. Get that shit
I just
outta
want
here.
look. Here's Spain on my lap.
Spain and your dick, son.
I'm gonna roll a blunt on Spain,
bro.
I think like each one of those things is up for debate individually. I'm gonna have to say individually. You know what I mean?
Which is your favorite though, Chris? Like, which is your favorite conspiracy that just really makes your nipples hard? Like, just makes you just go, damn, that's the shit right there.
If I got to be honest, I think that you call it the RH negative or the lizard people or whatever you want to call it. I just feel like that one would be if it is around Earth, and I think it is, and space goes on for time and space until as far as we can tell, and I think there's all evidence points to that personally. And so with that being said, I think colonization of other places is an inevitability, with that for resource or otherwise. With that being said, I think like if we could wear some camouflage and pull up on some monkey planet, have them do all the work for us and give us all the money because we're just, for whatever reason, a little bit smarter, a little bit more advanced. We got technology they don't know about, whatever it may be, we would do that shit. So that one seems like the most likely culprit to me. And I think that is like one of the biggest, like, because you're saying like, what's the biggest one? Like, to me, that's probably the biggest one, that a group of people would have came here at some point to enslave us. That just seems like some shit that we would do. And we're just like, some maybe 50% their blood, let's say, and 50% monkey, let's say, if they say that's the 2 million year gap in the prefrontal cortex, either that has to do with mushrooms or that has to do with us being bred or something, like So I think that one's super interesting. Other than that, dude, I think that aliens are an inevitability. I think that underground bases are an inevitability. I think that Tartaria is just like a weird name to encapsulate the fact that global catastrophes happen. Like, I think these are conclusions on most of them, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that there is just different name. Like, I think maybe Tartaria could have been Atlantis. Like, we can get lost in the weeds with that.
Totally.
The whole flat Earth thing and space is fake and gay. I don't know about all that, but
Wait, is it space gay now too?
it's fake and gay.
Wait, so you go to
It's
space?
gay. It's gay because
So
what do you think?
sick,
What do you
dude.
think the big Chris? What do you think the Big Bang was? Had to be some gay shit going on during the Big Bang because it was just God by himself. He had to take his penis, stretch it out to his butthole, fuck himself, and that's how he created life.
Bang, dude.
The Ouroboros, bro. They're just plugging the dick into the butt type of thing and just
Oh, life
suckling.
begins, dude.
The end
Self,
suck-
God would have to get God pregnant. It's the only thing that could get God pregnant would be God. So
I mean, if you really go by based off of the religion, it's a threesome. I mean, it's a trinity. That's why it's
no, but it's three guys though. It's a gay guy ghost, right?
no, bro. So I mean, depending on which cosmology you want to follow,
Okay.
but some do have a feminine aspect. Some people say that the Holy Spirit is the feminine aspect of the Holy Trinity, and then you have the child in there.
Dude, the frustrating part about this is it's like such a duh thing. Like, if there was a creator, like what kind of animal can create itself? One that is a hermaphrodite, and it's like when you look at
technically speaking, the reason that they worship serpents and they associate it with the divine feminine is because serpents don't need a mate; they can procreate by themselves.
Right.
So if we're talking about legitimate lizard people, I mean that's an argument to make. Because they do say we have a reptilian brain, right? I mean, if you want to follow the evolution, Darwinism, where it was like we were in this primordial goo, and then we turned into a little tadpole, and from there, that little tadpole turned into a frog, then went onto land and just started, became a monkey. Whatever you want to believe that shit, sure.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, dude. Darwinism seems so bizarre to me because you're telling us in like however many million years we can go from monkeys into us. It's like, I know that you and I aren't much better than monkeys, but it's like, fucking get the fuck out of here, bro. What happened to the rest of the hair? Where'd it go? You know what I mean? Where'd
It's
the
there for some people, bro.
yeah, for you. Where'd the tail at? Where'd the tail gone to?
Speak for yourself,
Weak little
dog.
fingernails, bro. I can't like dig in the dirt for grub.
So
What's the
there is the argument. I had Michael P. Masters on my podcast before, where he wrote the book Identified Flying Objects, and he talks about these aliens being us from the future, because according to evolution, because he's an evolutionary anthropologist, according to evolution, if on the course that we're at, the facial features and the features of these little gray men are according to evolution. So eventually our heads get bigger, our
Right.
mouths get smaller, our eyes get bigger. We lose all these features, right? What's going on right now? Like, I can be whatever I identify as, so they don't got any dick and balls and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Dude, if you could identify as anything, I would identify as Nick Cage's lost son. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Mark. How's it going along with Mr. Weston to come on the show? Has he replied back?
Yeah, we have a tennis. We're gonna go see a tennis match together next year.
This fucking guy.
Tennis match, even in golf match, bro. That's what all those guys do. The rich people play golf.
Hey, what
No,
what
the
do you
richer
identify
people
as?
play tennis.
What do I identify as? I mean,
Tennis player?
no, I identify as like a Sasquatch or something, like 100%, like a Sasquatch.
Yeah, I identify as a B character in a comic book that Juan spent thousands of dollars on, and we're not even on the cover page. What the fuck?
It's not done yet, Mark, okay? Not to get rude on air, but it's not done yet. When you see the finished product, then you can talk shit, okay? But
Mark,
until
you
then-
should identify as space right now, dude.
Wait, hold on. I'm curious. Not to get rude on air, as opposed to all the other times you weren't rude on air. What? What do you mean,
I'm
Juan?
in a better place today, Mark, or I don't ruin it.
Bro.
Okay, we got guests coming on soon.
They're here.
I want to be in a good mood for them.
They're here.
What time do they come on? Anyway, sorry to interrupt there.
They're right here. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. If you want more of just us, the humble hosts of this podcast, sign up for the Patreon. But right now, we're going to let our guests in. I just have to fix this image so I look cool. Got to look cool for our guests. I want to impress them. Can you guys tell?
Let those homunculus in the fucking chat, bro. That's my favorite word, dude. It's so fucking stupid.
Homunculi is plural, homunculus is singular, just for future reference.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Shit.
Oh God, here we go.
They're gonna be stoked.
We're doing a podcast with a nebula, bro. This is crazy.
Dude, space is fake.
Space is fake and gay.
Hey, what's up, fellas? What's up, boy?
Ben, how are you? I'm sorry to surprise you with my two asshole friends here, but we're about to do the Illuminati Confirmed podcast. You guys are in it now. Ben, Joe, welcome to the show from the UFO Garage. You're talking to the host of this podcast. I'm Space Face. How you doing?
Pretty good, Space Face. What's going on?
Joe, what's going on, Joe? Nice to meet you. Juan, Chris, introduce yourselves while I finish rolling this up.
Hey guys, I'm Juan from the Juan on One podcast. I'm just kidding. I'm Juan from the Juan on One podcast. Yeah, the Juan on One podcast. They call me the rabbit hole master around these parts because I tickle people's rabbit holes. I got my idol back here, just in case you guys haven't seen that guy before. He is my guru.
He's not here today.
Chris.
What's up, dudes?
What's going on?
Yeah.
I've got to know about the origins of Space Face. Are we looking into a different dimension, or is this kind of casual wear?
Space Face is an egregore. He represents all the people that listen to the podcast. So they'll be talking to me in the live chat and feeding me questions through the Bluetooth that was installed in the back of my knee.
Dude, hell yeah.
I love that location.
Thank you.
It's like it gives you a lot of flexibility. It's also, it's lower to the ground, more vibration. You get a little bit more vibration for transmission.
I have a lot of flexibility right now, but gentlemen, you're not being cornered. You haven't been ambushed, but I have to warn you, everything you say can and will be used against you for humorous and satirical purposes here on Illuminati Confirmed. We invited you because you probably have the most badass UFO podcast around. So Space Face is here to let everyone know what's what. If you're in my domain and you don't know about the UFO Garage, prepare for a breakdown. You guys are here. Tell our listeners a little bit about yourselves. Introduce yourselves.
Well, I should have worn pants for this interview, I feel like.
No, that's a bad idea.
You gonna kick this, Ben?
Yo, you're good. You're better at it. I'll stutter about you. You do it.
All right. Well, hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Joe, part of the UFO Garage Podcast. This is my buddy Ben over here. Our show is pretty simple. It's kind of laid back. It's a lot of fun. Me and Ben, we're just kind of looking for an outlet to talk about cool shit, right? And so what better way to do that than start a podcast? I mean, we used to be in a band, so that was just like the next step in our lives. Evolutionary, I guess, would be podcasts, right?
Yeah. Had all the equipment.
Yeah, all the equipment. We are good friends. We've been friends since we were kids. So, I mean, pretty much every band practice, like we would spend like half of it just talking about aliens, UFOs. Like, hey, have you heard about this story? Hey, have you heard about this abduction? So much so that like our drummer had to start like hitting his snare really, really loud to get us to shut up so we could actually practice. But,
What instruments do you both play?
I'm a bass player.
Okay.
I am also the bass player.
What?
Space bass.
I do vocals and acoustic guitar.
Dude, Space Face is confused, dude.
Dude, no. Space Face wants to hear more space bass, dude. Where's the...
Dude, space bass. Hell yeah. Where is my bass? My bass is over there.
No.
It's a little far.
Was the band any good, or were you guys like, nah, it was just better podcasting?
we were good for like a college band, and like we had some opportunities. Like we opened up for Los Lonely Boys once.
Hell yeah, dude.
We opened up for
The Dirty Heads. Yeah.
We get Los Lonely Boys in this galaxy. They rock.
Fucking Afro Man.
Afro Man. Yeah, that was a dope show.
Yeah.
Damn. Cold
Kevin
45 and 2 zigzags.
Kevin Fowler, man.
Kevin Fowler, Little Texas.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. That
Hell yeah. That shit was so much fun. God damn, those big ass country festivals that they would put on. That shit was awesome, dude. We're eating like alligator and fucking drinking beer all day. It was awesome.
Was it like Anahuac?
Hell yeah.
It is good. Is it the Anahuac? It's this really small town south of Houston. The Gator Fest. They go hard. It was fun.
Sounds like something that would go on in Florida, not in Texas, huh?
Right? Yeah. They had like hovercraft rides where you can go like just skip over.
Well, this is
Tartarian time. You talking about hovercrafts and all this, bro?
Hell yeah.
Like the ones with the big fans on that.
Fan boats.
Airboats. All right, guys. Around these parts, we call them airboats.
Airboats. There you go.
Hovercrafts.
so we got
Talking about that yesterday, Juan. We were just talking about how fly it would be to just like cruise around, shooting guns and airboating around and shit. That sounds like a hell of a good time.
yeah.
Hell yeah. It does sound fun. I mean, what's stopping us, boys? What are y'all doing this weekend?
Well, shit. Juan's over there on the Gulf Coast too. He'll be able to hop, skip down over there. Old Space Face over here. I'm on the East Coast of the galaxy. So, and Chris, he's on the West Coast. So we're kind of like cornering you guys all in. We got all the coasts. Everyone who's listening to this,
fuck, right?
everyone who's listening to this in Kansas, you're surrounded right now. We have you on all sides.
Wait, is space fake?
And gay. It's fake and gay. You know what I mean? Like,
Because that's we heard. First of all, that's the conspiracy that we last heard. We heard like as soon as you go to space, gay.
You're
Immediately.
your negativity, Juan.
It's like a thing.
Juan, Chris, your negativity is opening up a black hole and it's endangering Space Face. I'm going to be sucked into another dimension if you do not say some positive things about our guests. Compliment Joe,
That is
Juan.
positive. First of all, that is very positive, dude.
I mean, it makes sense, you know. They're like, you know, they mostly send dudes, you know. Like, it makes sense.
no. And what do aliens do? They probe you. But check this out. Chris had
And monkeys.
They sodomize people. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? I mean, it's bad. So Chris had a question for you, gentlemen. You guys have a UFO podcast. Have you guys ever encountered any? I know you talked to abductees and people who have had experiences, but have you two personally had experiences with any UFO, or what do they call them? UAP phenomenon now? Is that what they call them?
We like UFOs. It's more classic.
UFOs. All right. So have you guys ever had any experiences?
Yeah, we've had a couple, man. I mean, like I'll go first, jokes, as you went on the intro, but like I've seen these orange orbs in high school. A couple of my buddies and I were like just hanging out at the house. We get a call, hey Ben, you guys need to come over the dam and see these things. And we saw these huge 5 of these orange orbs just like stationary in the sky and kind of a straight line, and they would like fizzle out and then pop back in. It was crazy. But I've had a few other scenarios. I wouldn't call them abduction scenarios. More like maybe I was having like a sleep paralysis moment where I was like hovering above my bed and I can like hear whistling and whooshing wind and like could feel it all over my body. It was pretty trippy. It's kind of scary. But I wouldn't say that I was abducted, but I've definitely seen a lot of stuff. And in more recent years too, Joe and I have seen a couple crazy stuff together. Some lights in the sky that we can't really explain.
So is it possible? And hello, guys. Nice to meet you. I'm Mark. Space Faces. I kicked them out of here. So
potty break.
Yeah, no. Space Faces has got bigger things to do. But we're here now. Did this orb? No. Thank you for being patient with our hijinks. When you saw these orbs, at that point in your life, like how into this stuff were you? Do you consider that kind of like a turning point, or what? At that point, was it just like par for the course? Were you looking for that stuff already?
Yeah, no, great question. So early on as a kid, my family, like, I think it was like my aunt that bought me this shirt with like an alien head and some handprints on it. And there was this carnival. Me and Joe actually shared this story, totally separate. We weren't even like hanging out. We were like so little. There's this carnival in Taylor, the town where we both grew up. And I have this like poster, this alien head poster, kind of like the typical gray alien. So I had that like on my door growing up. So I liked the idea of aliens, but I never really thought about it, never really sought out, hey, let's go UFO hunting or anything, until I was around the time that I saw those orbs. So it was crazy timing because my friends and I, like, that's when YouTube really started. I mean, this was 2016, so it had already been a thing, but that's when you can just search UFO and actually find some pretty interesting videos without having to sift through a bunch of bull crap. So we weren't looking into it, and then it just so happened one night we were actually looking at like alien UFO videos, and then we just saw those orbs like that night.
And I asked because I had a few conversations, not nearly as many as you guys have on your podcast, but I've had a few conversations with experiencers, Ryan Bledsoe, one of them. And I'm curious to know, like, if there's something about the mind where you're almost like inviting this experience in. And it sounds like you were definitely in that headspace of like, whoa, if I saw this, it would be sick. You know, I don't know how many people who are like deathly afraid of that kind of thing end up experiencing it, you know?
Dude, I think there is something to it, and I think it's like it's definitely a spider web of connection that like you wouldn't even notice. It's so like subtle all throughout your entire life, and maybe that's why like when people get older, they do start to maybe seem like they're having more interaction, just because over such a long span of time, now you're starting to notice these little like oddities that like happen, maybe not very often, but like a lot more frequently than like just random happenstance, you know? Like for me, I kind of have that same story as Ben. Like we actually have the identical story of like this UFO alien picture that like we would obsess about when we were kids, but then we would win it at the carnival and we'd be terrified of it. We wouldn't even put it up. It was just an obsession for some reason that you have, you know? Yeah. And then like, as I get older, you know, before, you know, I went on a couple camping trips, you know, out in, you know, West Texas and stuff. And I've seen stuff fly in the sky and then kind of like do a weird dim and brighten up thing. And then boom, shoot straight up into the sky. Like that's fucking weird, right? Like what is that, you know? And it wasn't until I think Ben and I started working on this documentary, and the guy that we're filming, his name is Eric Mitchell, and he's had some pretty intense stuff happen, you know? And like, I think the frame of mind that like you're in, and kind of like, I don't know, maybe your acceptance does have something to do with it, but there's a lot of people who don't accept and or even believe, Eric Mitchell being one of them. And then boom, all of a sudden, you know, you have savant syndrome and like you're having crazy nightmares or dreams or flashbacks, like whatever, you know, like for me, it was like really weird because it solidified, like when we started doing this documentary, our film guy was kind of like, I'm on the fence. Like, I've never seen anything too crazy, blah, blah, blah. Dude, right before we leave to go start filming Eric, our film guy hits us up and he's like, hey, my neighborhood just had like a neighborhood watch go off. There's all these random things flying over the neighborhood. Well, it's weird because then I also had something happen where I had this big orange ball just float over my house. Like it was a contained ball of like orange light. It was so weird. Just floated over my house. And in the time it took me to like reach in my pocket and grab my phone, it just disappeared. I have pictures of it and I have video of it, but you know, I'm bending down to like put it in my pocket, and then I see it, you know, over my house. And so I go back to take another photo and it's just gone. Well, then Ben has this weird ass, not weird in a bad way, Ben, you know, just like it is weird though. It's very strange that this would happen. He has this really intense dream all within days of each other, right before we're going to go film Eric. And so it's like this weird connection that like whatever it is that has followed him around the United States, it was almost weird that it like maybe tracked us or like kept an eye on us somehow. And we all had different experiences, right? Nico, the film guy, had multiple. No, we're not saying it's following us. We're just saying like maybe it's connected. Like he's having this massive, contact stuff happening to him, and then it hits all three of us within days of each other before we go and see him.
Crazy.
And it's just, I think it is connected. I think your consciousness has a lot to do with it. I don't think maybe we realize it or have picked up on a pattern to make it happen. But I also think it's just a lack of looking up and interest. Like, how many times do you do that? It wasn't until that incident that I was like, wait a second, you really made it real. And it was like, wait, I always see weird shit in the sky and I'm just like, yeah, that's funny. Like whatever, like it just doesn't faze you. But like that one specific one made it to where like, okay, when I look up, I'm now looking up for a purpose, Well,
Beautiful.
And when you mentioned the phone coming out of your pocket and almost in that same moment, it became aware of your intention, right? Like I've heard this not just with orbs, UFO type encounters, Bigfoot encounters, ghost hunters, they bring this electronic equipment with them and then they end up recording, hardly anything. My suspicion is these motherfuckers, they're way ahead of the game. They can sense, they hear the little like that comes on just when the battery's connected to the circuit board. They sense these electronics from miles away.
I have a feeling they can hear your intentions, like they can hear a Nokia cell phone from 1990 ringing in the woods, like they can hear like, hey, someone's here with something with a battery.
Yeah.
That's all. Wait till later, and then throw some shit at them.
Well, and it brings up like this possibility that we're never like not on their radar, right? And it makes you wonder, like just from listening to your show particularly, you guys have a really great vibe. You have good chemistry. Synchronistically, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot more to your story on how you guys met. Obviously, that poster was sort of like a key that kind of unlocked a bunch of worlds for both of you in your own ways. But I wonder how much, and maybe you guys have discussed this with abductees and different experiencers, but how much synchronicity brings us further into this journey, right? Like it's almost like people who are unaware, maybe they're better off, but the more you focus on these little things, they become bigger and bigger, and all of a sudden you're filming a documentary and UFOs are flying over your house.
Yeah. My one of my favorite people in the UFO field is Lorian Fenton. She's got an amazing show too. She's just an awesome lady. Her and a few friends, we were sitting there chit chatting and they always said something that like really stuck with me. And they were like, if you're like consciously like observing things, you may be part of the tribe already and you don't even realize it.
What tribe?
Also, like if you're interested in the phenomenon, it's probably interested in you.
It's the observer effect.
Yeah. Yeah. Like part of the tribe as in like some form of contact. And it doesn't even have to be like, it doesn't even have to be visual contact. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people wouldn't even realize the type of contact maybe that they have had, like whether it be through some type of synchronicity or, whatever's going on in your life. Like, there's so much to this and there's so much to like sift through, and you try to use discernment as best as possible, especially like in this topic, but we get to a point to where like, how far is too far? And like, what are we officially talking about is like too weird. You know what I'm saying? So like in like this case, it's like these things they could probably control you if they wanted to, right? Maybe telepathically, maybe it's just a form of technology that we don't even know, right? But like, and some people would say, well, that sounds a little out there and crazy. Well, okay, but if I'm being abducted and taken through a solid wall, because they have the technology to do that, why wouldn't they have the technology to, implant a memory or screen memory or make a visitation and then like me never even know about it? We have capabilities today that can knock you out and you won't remember anything in the next hour or two. You know, we have technology that literally can work off of brain waves and make you hear things, see things, feel things. That's technology that we as human beings have. So if there's a civilization out there that is technologically advanced and, you know, can zip through the universe, why wouldn't they be able to do that? And then if we take it a step further and it's not just some like other civilization that's highly advanced in their technology, if it is like a multidimensional being and they don't even need technology, they just know how to shift through these dimensions, then they definitely know something that we don't know. And so I think there's like a big gap between like what we're trying to figure out nuts and bolts and then like the rest of the story, you know, because that nuts and bolts thing is something that we all need. We all want the physical craft. We all want to know how it works. We want to know the fuel that they use to travel across the galaxy. You know, we all want that part. But the other part, I think that's going to be the struggle on like, how can we as humans even comprehend what they're doing, right? It would be like if we were to go back and talk to a caveman and unload the latest physics books on like what's happening current technology. He would have no clue what he would walk out the cave, probably take a shit, pick up his rock and spear and go and try and kill something to eat, right? It wouldn't even matter to him. So like, it's weird that we would assume that like, yeah, tell me everything, aliens, like we would even understand it in the first place, you know?
He would probably think that you're unintelligent because you don't know anything that is applicable to his life and survival.
Right.
If you could throw him a Snickers bar, he'd probably be on team, you know, whatever you want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How about I don't know if you guys have had Michael Masters on your show, the identified flying objects. He's an evolutionary anthropologist, and he's a professor at in Montana somewhere. And he talks about, what do you guys think about the theory that these entities, right, these grays, these things that we don't know what they really are us from the future coming back to study ourselves, how an archaeologist would study bones or something like that. And these crafts are able to bend space and time, and that is their time machine, because we've seen it in the Marvel movies, right? Was that the one of the latest ones where they make a time portal? They're like, holy shit, we did it. And they're like, so how you said you got to be careful where you go with that information. Like, oh, they can implant memories, because it's like, wait a minute. So is this a brain in a vat jar type of situation that we're in right now? You know, like a demiurge situation where, you know, Descartes' evil demon is controlling us. Like there's a lot to really unpack there. So when you start talking like that, people start relating like, wait, am I in the Matrix? Is this even real? You know what I mean? Like people start going down that rabbit hole. But what do you guys think about these entities being us from another time and coming back and just fucking with us?
You said so many things that like you basically illustrated my journey this past like 3 years, bro. Like I've been through all those rabbit holes. Hey, you're the rabbit hole king though, right? So hey, but
you've been known to tickle some holes, dude. It's cool.
Hey, a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. Toot your horn a bit, dude.
But yeah, man, I think literally at this point in my life, I'm very open to a lot of stuff, but I'm trying not to be so open that my brain explodes. But the fact of that time travel is possible has been proven within our theoretical physics. And if that's all that means is that, hey, we were able to prove that somebody could say that that's possible. Like just because somebody was able to write it down, somebody else was able to confirm it, doesn't mean shit. Like honestly, it's probably happening whether we want it to or can we understand it or not. Like it's probably happening. But when you get close to the speed of light, when you time travel, when you use these spaceships to get from one end of the galaxy to the other, you kind of, if you think of like time as an aspect of the dimension that we live in, if you were to travel from one end of the galaxy to the other, you basically take away time. So time isn't even a factor when you're traveling, if you can even call it traveling. At that point, it's like it's almost as seamless as thought, or just shining a beam of light on something from the beginning of a laser to wherever it ends. So yes. Do I think that it's possible that the gray aliens that we see are us from the future? Absolutely. I also think that they could be our predecessors that have seen our evolution grow up till now, and they've been here watching us forever and seen these cycles and cycles. So like, are they us from the future? Maybe not this civilization, but how many civilizations have lived and cycled through on this planet alone? And how many civilizations have cycled through fall and rise on other planets? Like, I think there's just so many possibilities out there. But like the lineage, I think we're probably related to whatever else out there has 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head.
No
Can we
doubt.
establish something before we go on? Because I want to talk about the elephant in the room. Okay.
Uh-oh.
This is something that
Chris, buckle up.
I'm just waiting for you guys to bring out an actual elephant. I feel like that feels vibe, like the old tour.
we're talking about space travel, okay? And I really want to go there. Is the fact that, right, we're in the galaxy now, it's Nick Cage. Is it flat or not? If you know what I mean. Is it flat?
That's not the elephant in the room, Juan. We talked about the elephants in the room. We don't even have the elephant sound effect today, okay? Listen.
I don't have my soundboard, bro.
We're past that. We're past that.
Sorry.
We're past that. We'll have David Weiss on and fulfill your wet dreams,
No, but
okay?
I want to ask the UFO guys because they're talking about, outer
Ask
space and all this shit.
Ask them.
I don't think it's flat.
Thank you. That's all you guys need to say.
Well, I'll say this. The only thing I'll give Linnet credit to is if you believe in the Matrix theory. Okay, so is a program within a computer chip flat?
Mm.
No, it's three-dimensional.
It's
so
dimensional.
Like the physical objects, yes, are, but what we construct in our mind, what we experience, is that also flat? Like our thoughts and our experiences, are those flat? Because
we know that the mind works in over 13 different dimensions simultaneously, all at the same time, while projecting your 3-dimensional reality.
Oh, that is
because
not true. That's
of the eyes.
Think about food,
Chris,
pussy,
Chris,
sleeping.
Chris,
That do 4 things max, bro. What is 13 dimensions, bro?
Chris.
You can think of all of those things in 13 separate dimensions.
Right.
They get better and
Thank
better
you.
the higher dimension
Yes.
you go.
Joe,
And that's true enlightenment, dude. Can you imagine thinking of pussy in 13 dimensions at the same time?
Oh, I can think about it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, it's like,
I have.
well,
I'm just fucking with you.
I just wanted to bring that up
Fucking
because
with
I mean, a lot of people don't believe in space, right? And I for one do
Yeah, but
believe
Juan,
in space.
Juan,
I do,
may I?
telescope. I've looked up there, I've seen it. Some people say it's a holographic projection, but then it's like if it is a dome, like where are the aliens coming from? Are they
right.
interdimensional? Are they coming from the hollow Earth?
Juan.
it's also a very big possibility. I mean,
We have Shambhala, right? We have Shambhala, the Ascended Masters. How Ben was talking about that these are entities above space and time, that they have always been there watching over humanity.
It's possible. It's possible. Is the universe flat? I don't think so. Maybe if you believe in the multiverse theory, where there are multiple universes, there is a universe out there that is flat, but at the same time, due to perspective and how small you would be compared to the size of the universe, it still just wouldn't be flat,
Right.
Like, I think everything is flat the further away from it you get, but the closer up you get, it's very not flat. So I think it's relative to what you're able to kind of see. Now, when you talk about living in the Matrix and what is reality, I mean, sure, right? we can all insert our own thing.
I want to go back to what you just said, though. The further away from something you get, the flatter it looks. I know that wasn't exactly how you phrased it, but bingo, bango, that sums it up. Juan, thank you for asking them such a one-dimensional question, pun intended. Guys, You talked about being open-minded, and I'm going to bring in the real elephant in the room. This is what we do. We compete. Juan and I and Chris, we're competing against each other as we're hosting this show here. So, you talk about being open-minded, and I just had a incredible conversation with a guy who claims to be a part of the secret space program. Now, I know this is all too familiar to you guys. How could you have missed it? These guys are everywhere. There's many different characters that claim to be a part of the secret space program. Give us your thoughts. Don't hold any punches. What do you think?
This is a sticky one, right?
Yes.
Because there's so much bullshit lining the secret space program, and just like, just the people that talk about it. One amazing person that you can listen to is Michael Stratt, and the reason he's really good is because he's not like doing the whole like, oh, I'm looking for space soldiers and things, right? He's going back and tracking actual like receipts and like government documents pertaining to certain private companies that were contracted by the government at the time, and finding aircraft that were built and certain things that were built at a way too expensive rate for an aircraft. He's also he's a private pilot. He's an aircraft historian, and he deals in like basically trying to figure out what the fuck government is spending your money on. So he's really good at that kind of stuff. He has like a really good couple of videos on like, just, he's not saying secret space program. He's saying if there is a secret space program, this is the kind of stuff I believe that they would be doing. And he's giving you documents and actual like numbers and shit. So it's really, really amazing. So do I think there is a secret space program? 100%. I do believe that there is a completely different program that exists that isn't under any kind of like rule of law that we know of here on Earth, or we do know of it here on Earth. We just will never know that they're connected. But I think, there's been some. Here's the thing, right? If the secret space program does exist, I think it would be really hard to get people who are involved with it to come forward and speak. I do think that they would have memories wiped, that whole thing, if they were involved with it. Now, you do have people coming out claiming to be part of the secret space program, and for the most part, we can kind of prove that like they're not, right? There's a lot of bullshit artists when it comes to this, but the stories that they're telling, that's a completely different thing, right? Because where are they getting these stories from? Who have they talked to that they're getting these stories from? Who possibly could have told this story and said, can you be a mouthpiece for me? I know like if you get the hit, like it's going to be bad, right? But like, I'm about to tell you, like, like if I came to you and I said, look, we've known each other for a really long time. We grew up, we're best friends. You know that I've been gone for the past 15 years. I want to tell you what's been happening. I tell you this and I say, I need this story to get out. Can you do something, right? So you start getting into this community, you start telling this story, which is a real story, but now you start to take on your own life, your own persona of like this guy who's in the secret space
become
program.
a puppet for somebody.
So you can't really answer like those really intricate details.
Yeah.
You just kind of
start to believe it yourself too.
Yeah, man. Like I think there's, I don't know. That's just being nice. Like that's a nice way of the stories getting out. But I think a lot of it is like bullshit artists stealing people's stories and putting them together. Right. And it sounds cool. And some of it is accurate, but I also believe that a lot of stuff pertaining to that is probably a massive disinformation campaign. Like I just,
And let me clarify, like we're no way asking you guys to, defend any of this stuff. We're all sort of in the same boat of like, hey, what the hell is going on, right? So anybody out there listening, if you were in the secret space program, I'm sorry. Call us, please. We want to hear from you.
Give us a ring.
You guys get a lot of contact from your callers. Do you guys take calls on your podcast? I hadn't listened to that episode, but I noticed it was like listener submission or something like that.
We were going to try and take calls, but then like once we got on with somebody, dude, our conversation lasted like 2 hours. It's like, you don't want to cut somebody off in the middle of them like dumping out their UFO story on you. You know? You let them talk, you let them vent, you let them do their thing, and then we batted around together. So it ended up becoming more fun to just do full episodes with people. I know Big Willie, did a couple phone calls, and somebody ripped a big ass fart the very first day he did it, and it was hilarious.
It was so funny. And he'd be like, I mean, dude, Big Will, if you know him, he's like the sweetest dude ever.
He was like Art Bell that night, dude. Like, he was perfect.
Right on.
It was really funny though. It was such a nice fart too. It was epic.
Well, and I hate that Chris just walked away for that because he's usually our guy with the fart humor, but that's all right. So when I was doing my research, because I did listen to quite a few of your episodes, and I've known about you guys for a while. I've been tuning in here and there, and back when my podcast was nothing to bat an eye at, and I had an intention. I'm gonna get these guys on my show eventually. Who knew it would be Illuminati confirmed? But you're talking about the Andromedans and their story of human beings, and you're getting into some good stuff about reptilians. The show is called Illuminati Confirmed, so let's get into that, because I want to know what you guys think. And to bring it maybe to the Greys again, you said something that was extremely interesting to me, and I think Juan will like this too. You said that the first contact between humans and the Greys, and again, this is from the Andromedans, I'm assuming they shared this information, that the Greys and human beings met in 1932 for the first time, which is around the time when, Aleister Crowley was alive and well, and we all know that lamb drawing that he did that kind of looks like a Grey. I mean, what are your thoughts, gentlemen, on the Greys? Because they seem to not fit into what we know about ancient aliens, Anunnaki, huge beings, things like that.
So it is pretty strange, right? Because that was the same time that Aleister Crowley had opened that portal and wasn't able to close it, right? So there's a branch of that theory that maybe he opened this portal and these Greys came through, and that was kind of the beginning of us starting to see these Greys, right?
Aiwas. What is that? How you say it? Is that how you said it?
No,
I think
Dude, that's from Avatar, bro. That's from free in Avatar, bro.
You have the Cairo workings, which was where he talked to Ayahuasca. Then you have the Alamantra working, which was when he encountered Lamb. So the Cairo working was first when he was in the chamber channeling with his wife at the time, and then the whole book. And then later on in 1917 was when he did the Alamantra working, which was in New York, where he did open up the portal and did see Lamb, this short little alien-esque type character, that, if you want to believe that. But then
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how. Did you guys just hear me? I was muted and my mic flared. That's weird. Anyways, it does kind of seem like there's a miscommunication. You got to imagine Crowley I was telling me. It kind of sounds like he's talking about himself. I don't know.
He didn't sound like that, Mark. It's he was telling me, was telling me. Yo, Pan. That's how he talks.
You've heard Crowley speak?
You can look him up on YouTube. That's how he speaks.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh shit.
Well,
All
I was
right.
gonna say, Mark, if that's not how his damn voice sounds, that sounds like what I would picture Aleister Crowley's voice.
Absolutely not.
Thank
Everybody
you.
does the same fucking impersonation, but he talks like a little boy.
He's like,
I am Crowley, the great beast, 666. Okay, you fucker. That's how he talked.
how come South Park hasn't done a Crowley character? That'd be perfect. I just pictured him having a big British bulldog voice, from London, a big tough guy. But anyways, enough of my impressions.
No, he was he was a small dude, wasn't he? He was into dudes.
Yeah, he was power bottom for Baphomet. That's the whole Eye of Horus thing. It's in the butt, dude. That's where magic is stored. That's where the term holy shit comes from, because the magic is in the butt.
I keep trying to tell my wife that, and she doesn't believe me.
They'll come through eventually, bro.
That one. That is news.
One of us is gonna come through eventually.
Alan Greenfield was just on the Higher Side chats. I was listening, and he mentioned something about anal And Greg Carlwood was like, yeah, but why anal particularly? And Greenfield was like not giving him a straight answer, which no pun intended again. But yeah, he definitely he definitely didn't explain himself. But I don't know, that guy's a sex magician and he's talking about the power of the booty. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a little weird.
You think maybe
Slap
when
them
you
cheeks,
meditate,
boy.
yeah, I think probably you meditate, you know what I'm saying? You create that, you come out of the crown chakra, you know what I mean? You create your light body, you go into space. Boy, you come back gay as fuck, dog.
Maybe. I don't know. The jury's out on that one.
Sandals and shit.
Yeah, fuck sandals.
Thong sandals, especially, bro. That's just gay as fuck. The thong sandals, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Thong sandals with socks?
You can't learn now, bro. What are you trying to do?
Dude, they're all wearing buns and long shirts and sandals and shit when they come back from meditating. They're all wearing necklaces.
Hey, those guys get
Well, and all
into that yoga pussy though. Guaranteed, bro. Every dude with a bun on could fuck your girlfriend.
I know.
Ask Mark.
That's why I have to wear a bun in public sometimes.
what do you mean? Ask Mark. Look at my dudes here. They both got luscious manes. Come on now. You guys are outnumbered right now, Juan and Chris.
Never did. I got this nice manly.
All this fuck, son.
But let's take it back because there is real evidence. All right, Victor Neuberg, I think is the guy's name, who was like basically Aleister Crowley's boy toy, so to speak, and they did all of these like crazy like journeys through the Sahara. Like they were trying to look for like Atlantis, I think, or something like that. Like he was really stressing this dude out, drove him to the edge of his sanity, and that guy he was never the same again. Like his family was very, distraught about that. But yeah, Crowley, by all intensive purposes, was a pretty fucking weird dude. We've covered that topic, not on this show, but I've talked about it a bunch. I kind of get the chills with Crowley because I actually had a weird experience one time where I bought his book, Liber 4, the one titled Magic, and I was so excited. Like $100 I spent on this fucking book, and it comes in the mail. It's huge. Bastard. It's like $1,000. Or sorry, it's like 1,000 pages or more, and I bring it to work with me. At the time, I worked at a cafe. Juan, Chris, shut your mouths. I worked at a cafe, and I had this. We had a Patreon episode. All right. Anyways, sign up for the Patreon to get the context, folks. So I have this book underneath the counter, and I'm just serving coffees, doing my thing, and this guy comes into the cafe and kind of had a homeless vibe to him, but he was young enough to where it could have just been a drug problem too, or both. And and it's a pretty affluent kind of city, so typically that's not the clientele. And I was like, okay, keep my eye on him. Like, why is he just coming in, sitting down, not ordering a coffee? So he's sitting down, and what I didn't notice until I walked over to ask him if he wanted to order anything was that he was scribbling in between the lines in a Bible, right? He was scribbling words, and he had 2 candles, okay? He brought candles to our cafe, not lit candles, but electronic candles, like the kind with the little switch on the bottom. So he's got these 2 candles and a Bible. Keep in mind, the Aleister Crowley book, for the first time, is in this cafe, right? And I later find out recently that this part of New Haven, Connecticut, where I was in the cafe, is called the 9th Square, which, if you guys know anything about magic squares, it's all kind of coming to me right now that maybe I put this book in the cafe and it opened up this weird portal, and then this homeless guy came in and tried to do some kind of alcoholic black magic. And dude, it was,
yes,
the look in his eye.
There's something to that, man.
Dude.
What's his name in Soul?
It gets even weirder.
Guy?
It gets even weirder. It gets even weirder. So I go over to him like, bro, you got to order something. You can't just, read here. And he's like, I was going to order something. And I'm like, okay. All right. I'll see you at the counter. So he comes over. He's like, I want a small cup of coffee, you know, cheapest thing on the menu. And I'm like, all right, cool. And he's like, don't you know that I'm the 7th son of Charles Manson and the grandson of Aleister Crowley himself? And I'm like, the book is under the counter. It's not like in view. I'm like, what the is this guy talking about? So he's like, you know, at this point, livid because I probably interrupted his seance that he was trying to conduct in our cafe. And, you know, he starts spouting this like schizophrenic, I'm going to curse you. I'm going to curse this. I'm like, bro, take the coffee to go. And I gave him his coffee. He paid in cash and he kind of like sat, we had outdoor seating. He sat outdoors, which that was free game. Anybody could sit out there. So I kind of kept my eye on him and he wandered off, but I never brought that book out in public again after that. Yeah.
Did you see his dick too, Mark?
Yes.
Or was that another guy?
Yes. That's mandatory. You can't order a coffee without tipping the barista.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Just
Wow.
the tip.
Mark, you got to see this poster, dude. I used to have an Iron Maiden poster on my wall when I was a kid. Check this out.
Looks so good, dude. Your phone screen really. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I think I've seen that before. Actually, it does look sick.
He's got the candles. You know what I'm saying?
Is that supposed to be like a Planet of the Apes priest?
No, that's their fucking their logo, their guy Eddie, and he's like this cartoon character. They had him for all
Like a
of their...
skeleton guy, right?
Yeah, it's fucking sick. The art for Iron Maiden is like, dude, it's incredible. Actually,
That's the only reason I listened to their music when I was a kid. I saw the album artwork and I was like, this looks badass, and it actually was pretty badass.
Yeah, and their songs are about like fucking slaying dragons and shit. They're so
yeah. Well, and let's
Morgor and shit. You know,
let's bring it back in. When it comes to dragons and stuff, I was asking you guys about the reptilians before Chris got back.
Yeah,
I heard you guys mention there are different types of reptilians. Could you fill us in on the hierarchy?
So I forgot all of the names of them in the hierarchy, but I do know. So there's like
Draconis.
There you go. That's
with the vestigial wings.
They're the ones with the big ass wings, yeah, and the tail. And those guys are the guys that supposedly are running shit, right? They're not, you know.
And they're all talked about in the Dogon tribe. They're depicted in the Dogon tribe as reptilian beings from. Sorry, Joe. Is it Nibiru? That's
no.
Yeah,
it's from like the Alpha Centauri region. So
I heard you guys say that
where you get the Nordics, you get the Lyrians, I guess like the cat people type of ETs that people would see. You get those types of civilizations.
Hold on.
In the history.
Cat people.
Yeah,
you just rung a lot of bells for Chris.
Or the Lyrians. The Lyrians,
They got whiskers.
some of them do. Yeah. Some of them are very humanoid though. So it just kind of depends.
Do they play with yarn all day long? Balls of yarn all day?
That's how you trap them. That's how you just. It's actually very easy.
It's how they lost the Great War.
Get the fuck out of here. They're scared of loud noises.
Chris.
They don't like cucumbers.
From a saucer.
You put cucumbers behind them. They don't like that very much.
Stick with us here.
Some of the tactics done by UAP nowadays, there are a lot of lights dancing around. That used to work on the Lyrians, but not on us humans. We're not saying that before.
So if you hit the light, like the sky with like a laser pointer, cat people fucking everywhere, man.
Boom.
Damn.
Follow it. That's why they blink at you when you shine lasers in the sky.
That's great.
It's part of the CE5 protocol,
Oh yeah, that guy with the and he got the little thing X-rayed, and they found out it wasn't a human, and he never really went back and talked about that.
Yeah.
Dude is sus, bro. He got too much muscle mass, bro. Got mad sus, bro.
Hold on.
You didn't want to get us started.
Yeah, okay, we could go a while on that one because is it sus? Because if we do share DNA,
yeah, he's sus.
Oh, you mean him as a person? I mean,
yes.
No comment. But the Atacama mummy, the baby, the yellow, the little banana guy. just because he has some DNA that he shares with human doesn't mean that it can't also be extraterrestrial or just a early, like we were talking about earlier. Like if we all share the same ancestor, of course a human DNA is going to show up in that a sequence, right? Like, yeah, because we're all related in some way. It doesn't matter if you're from this galaxy or the other one. Like, hey, it's a family.
It loops back to the Illyrians and the and the the Nordics and the Greys and
Now,
all those
here's
other
the-
civilizations, man.
Here's
And
the thing.
Reptilians.
Here's the
honestly.
thing. We hear a lot about cat people, lizard people. All right, we get it. But where are all the marsupial extraterrestrials at?
Exactly.
Because if we're going to take a look at every zoo on the planet or any group of animals, there's no doubt that the marsupials are hands down weirdest out of all of the other animals. So where's the marsupial planet and why haven't they come and contacted us yet?
They're pretty strange, right there. They're pretty strange.
Thought about that. That is genius.
And
know?
Gotta be one.
and we don't
What is it? What? Damn it!
we don't actually know.
Tangrel, where they're kangaroos, but they were genetically modified to be kangaroos.
Same thing, man. Same thing, though, right?
Yeah, it's a marsupial.
We don't actually know.
Marsupials in the evolutionary chain,
Right.
they're unaccounted for.
Right.
They don't. The biologists don't know science cannot prove where they came from.
Right.
So I think the missing link here is this marsupial theory, and there's a reason. I'm not gonna go.
But
Awesome.
I was gonna say some fucked up shit, but never mind. Go ahead.
well, but like, did the octopuses ferry them onto the planet? Because we need to explain them as well.
It's possible, but like, I mean, as you guys are saying this, I mean, so check this out, right? Like we have these different, so we have like a humanish type thing, which is these Nordics, and then we have like a feline type thing. Then we have an insect type thing, which are the
Mantids.
yeah, the Mantids, right? So the story behind the Reptilians is that they're actually from another dimension, right? But they were so bad that they got pushed out of that dimension into our realm. And it just so happened to be in this area where all these other guys come from. Now, they're a very war-like species. So they went down there and they kind of fucked shit up. So as everybody left, they scattered. These species kind of made their way to Earth. So we do have an insect, we have a lizard, we have a cat, we have a human. Maybe they decided, hey, we should make some cool shit, which is genetic modification, which is the marsupial, which is that missing link, which comes from Earth. And maybe the next like highly developed species that comes from this planet that is going to be spacefaring isn't even human. Maybe millions of years from now, it's going to be the marsupial. And that'll just add to the gene pool of weird shit that's out in the universe. Now you have humans, now you have marsupials, now you have insects, now you have reptiles, now you have energy beings. I mean, the
I hate
possibilities
to-
are really endless, when you go down that rabbit hole.
I love it. I'm with you, and that's why we have you here, because this is breaking news, folks. I mean, other than the Australian biologists, we're the only ones talking about this. Seriously.
Y'all have broken the ground here, boys, because I've never heard anyone question the marsupial thing. So I love this right now. I'm about to dive right in.
Please.
I'm gonna go even a step further. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to break the ground. I'm gonna have to say, because Joe is talking some shit right now. He's talking some esoteric occult shit right now when it comes to the marsupials, and we're talking about genetic modification. We know the Anunnaki were all about that, and we know all about these, the ancient astronaut theory, if you will. But I think that humans were next on. We weren't finished being modified to step into that marsupial role, if you will, because there's a reason, right? Again, a lot of ancient religions make men circumcise themselves, okay? Because it's like a little pouch. If you're not it's like a little pouch. So maybe we're the missing link. They wanted to turn us into marsupials 100%.
Joe, Ben, Juan just had a baby boy, so he's thinking about circumcision. It's on his mind.
Hey, congratulations, though, man. That's hell yeah.
But come on, it's like a little pouch, right? It's like a little, but and then they just cut it off. Boom. No, you can't have that little pouch, bro. They can't have your true origins, which is to the marsupials.
Right.
They have little pouches.
So, Juan, you're going to teach your kid to like hold snacks in his fucking schmeckma of theirs? What do you do?
Cheerios.
Yeah.
If you're not going to eat all that,
He's going to put his Legos in there and take them to school. What the hell?
He's like, hold on. I got some Cheerios down here I've been stashing.
Skittles, and you just like push it out.
I'm gonna have to push back on that idea just a little bit. And now that we're really breaking it, when you first said it, I was like, this guy's brilliant. But now that we're discussing it, I'm gonna have to push back just a little bit.
That's what we were waiting for.
I don't know what the evolutionary purpose of hiding snacks in your wiener is.
What's the point of having that? Like you bring up a good point. What's the point of having the little hood? What's it for? Huh?
Well, maybe evolutionary. When we were growing up, we didn't have clothes. We were running through the thicket. We were having bushes scratch our wieners and stuff all the time. Maybe it was good to have a little extra skin down there to protect it, And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it now. Like, if you got one, cool, right? If you don't, you just grew up in a religious family or something. That's literally the only difference, right? Somewhere down the line, your family was like super religious, and they were like, "Yeah, let's cut that little piece off." That's literally all that happened. But evolutionary wise,
you have to understand, Juan is fucking with you. What he was really trying to say.
And what does that say, though?
There's different evolutionary paths, right? And we were getting onto this where the fact is, Juan, you're being an asshole to our guests who are very nice to us.
I love the Pez dispense. You got that in my head. It's like
the little Skittle dispense like that. You just and you take it out and you come on. It's a good. Okay, you guys.
I'm wondering
this marsupial theory. I'm fucking trying my best, and you guys are shitting all over me. And I'm talking about not Chris too much, but Mark. I'm on to you, bro.
Listen. First of all, if there's gonna be big bugs out there and there's grays and
big dicks,
and there's big dicks, here's my question: what do the Nordics look like? Are they just look like typical people from like me, Finland or whatever?
Strong man,
they're a little taller. They're a little bit taller. They're a little more pale. They've been.
And they get tans?
I don't know. Never asked. Maybe not on their planet. They might have a blue dwarf or a blue dwarf star.
You guys,
and this is also like really important too. Well, I don't know how important it is. If it's real, then it is really important, right? Like if you're from this little area where there is multiple civilizations hanging out, they're not hanging out around the same star, right? Which means that they're all going to have different like evolutionary traits to them. Right. Different tans. Right. So we very well could be a byproduct of these Nordic beings. And so that's why we're bipedal and, we have 10 hands and toes and look human because that's part of their evolution. Now, when you get to here where we have like a regular sun, which is just a relatively small star, we might tan up a little bit more if you're around like what do they call them? Red dwarves, right? They don't put off a lot of light and stuff. So
have you ever been anywhere sunny?
Oh, hell yeah. I live in Texas.
Yeah. So you get a tan, right?
Yeah.
So
for sure.
It's not like a stretch of the imagination to think that if you like sat in a basement your whole life, you'd have one skin tone. And if you were outside being a cowboy, you'd have another skin tone. There's like a variance in all people, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, all right. So we're dealing with Nordics and they're basically really light skinned. They all live in Finland or like somewhere around there, maybe.
No.
Or are they everywhere now?
We've seen them in South America, Pennsylvania. Our past guest Michael Wan saw them in Pennsylvania, Chris.
If we're talking about it, like the history, right? The Caucasus Mountains are where the first white record of white people come from. Right. So maybe they landed there, they populated there,
Can they still fly around? And are they interdimensional?
The Nordics would be, not us, not descendants, because we forgot. We don't know anything, right? We're a civilization with amnesia.
Well, and to bring it back to the reptilians, that's something you guys, I heard you mention, is that the reptilians allegedly can't trace their origins back because they brought themselves to such a dense place that they're almost like, because that joke I made about Space Face, I was listening, Space Face was talking about the black holes. You guys said something on the podcast that really blew my mind. The level of negativity in a universe, in a galaxy, creates a black hole that eventually overcomes that negative whatever it is and brings it into a lower dimension, like a self-correcting universe.
Right.
Wow.
Can you refer to them as holes of color? I don't like the black holes. I like the term.
Okay, all right.
I feel more comfortable if you would refer to those.
Yeah, you are the rabbit hole master, so I will defer to you for all the hole terminology.
But that's a crazy idea. I'd never thought about that.
Yeah.
About how, where you could, they're almost like egregores, right? Where we come together as a collective conscious. What do you guys think about that? About these entities being, I think Mark brought it up earlier, about them being projections of our psyche, because if you do open yourself up to these experiences, which a lot of people, we've had Ryan Burns on, right? Our bro Ryan Burns, who has property at the Skinwalker Ranch, and he talks about how you have to invite these things in, and you have to, he sometimes sages himself down. It's like, are they demons and angels, or like what the fuck's going on? Like, are they on some craft taking off from some planet somewhere and traveling through space and coming here? Like, I don't get, that's where I've always, like, it's like they're interdimensional, but then do they live on another planet, or do they live in another dimension, or is it both the same thing? Like,
I think it could be all of those things.
Yeah,
I really do. Sorry, Ben, go for it.
I mean, ditto, all of those things. Also, I just want to I'm gravitating toward the term egregore, because Joe and I first learned of that term like a month ago or something. We just didn't know that existed, and now it's like synchronicity, like just popping up everywhere, man. I was listening to your show, Mark, and like in your episode on the Bledsoe Said So, I'm like, oh my God, that word keeps popping up. But yeah, like if we're going, the other thing I latched on to is the relationship between, okay, are these ET? What's the difference between ET and demons and like angels and all that stuff? I think that is just a word that we're doing our best as humans, and like we've been around for a little while, and languages change. And transcribing different languages into another, those will all change. We've seen it. It hasn't been that much time. We could even point to a lot of scripture in the Bible. Like that's one of our oldest texts in the Quran. And we could say, oh, well, no, that's not what it means at all. Like it translated into English. Like if you go back into a different language, it means totally something else. So what I think was once considered like a demon is just something that we don't understand. It's not from here. I was given a message by something that I believe to be my Lord and Savior, my guide, if you will, that is just something to stay away from. And that translation was lost and synthesized into one word, which is like really easy for us to discuss. And it's like, just stay away from it. Just trust me. Hey, it's a demon. Just trust me. Just stay away. It's bad. Okay. Doesn't mean like even the word demon, like, we have a good friend, Lynn Wallington, who is a witch that says like even demons are not all bad. Like they're
there's some demons that can be used for positive things. It's literally a harness of power.
Well, yeah, they say King Solomon, managed all these demons and put them in their place, and they built the Temple of Solomon, right? Yeah.
Know that. That's cool. That's really
Ben, did you just say your Lord and Savior told you to stay away from demons?
Yeah, no, not mine specifically.
Mine did.
It's like in context of like, if as far as like the Bible, I was kind of like speaking to like if you were religious, kind of the overall. So
my Lord and Savior is He-Man, and he said fight evil.
Dude, He-Man might be really fucking accurate, man. Look at that shit. You got Skeletor.
Isn't it crazy?
Mad Castle-y shit. Dude, I'm Welsh, dude. I'm Welsh.
Thundercats, bro. It's all about Thundercats.
You ain't thinking about it, Juan, man. You Puerto Rican, bro. Not everything is nice, bro. Not everybody got motherfucking palm trees, son. You know what I mean?
Oh, bro. Speaking of cat people, we got Yalda Boath here. He is the
Juan, nobody knows about your merch. Get your merch off the screen.
the one-on-one
Talk about this
podcast.
shit. Let's talk about this shit right
That's a
here.
lion's tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's Yalda Boath, bro. It's the
Also-
Urge.
Also, how can I become a fart boy? Because I want to be a part of that crew.
Fuck the fart boys, bro. They are
No, Ben, we will send you some Fart Boy stickers. Don't you worry.
Hey, let's trade merch. I'll send all you.
Chris, you walked away when they told us a fart story, dude. You'll have to
No, I
re-listen.
heard it. I had to go get another beer. I heard it. And I was like, these fucking guys are
See, the audience wants to know how lit you are every episode because we get that in the Telegram chats. Like, does Chris just
Chris to shut the fuck up. I heard that somebody sent me a message like, tell Chris to shut the fuck up and let the guests talk. That's what I heard, bro.
sometimes, there's what they call player haters. You know what I mean? Out there in the street.
right?
And we don't pay no fucking mind to them people.
And we don't.
Because they're small people.
And we
People
don't.
that focus on the negative.
Hey, now you're being a player hater. Let's turn it around,
Don't hate
okay?
the player, hate the game.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
What I need to know is I need the 30,000 of you guys, because you guys are experts in the subject now, because you guys are, you know what I'm saying? So you guys are honed down on this thing called geology. You tell me everything about rocks. You know what I mean? So you guys are honed down on this UFOology, right? And I need to know, because you've had all these interesting conversations, this, that, and the other. What is the takeaway? I mean, you go, definitely there's aliens. There's different types of aliens. There's this kind, that kind, the other kind, right? We've discussed that. Is there a hierarchy? Do they run the world? Like, you know what I'm saying? Can I have like, you know what I mean? I need to, sometimes I'm like a retard, right? I need to zoom out. I need things from far away, man. That's like the way I process things, you know? So like, you know what I mean? Can you describe it like, have we?
Thanks for the disclaimer, Chris.
Initiation books? Somewhere?
I guess like in basic, like in the most basic way possible, like as far as I understand from talking to all these people is, okay, the Mantids, they kind of run shit, right? They're the overseers, they're the watchers. They don't get their hands dirty. They created the small grays. The small grays are worker bees, and the worker bees, they're not alive, but they're not dead either. They're more of like biomech. So like they are biology technically, but they're also mechanical. So they don't have souls or anything like that. They're just doing what they're programmed to do, which is kind of on a hive mind type operation, right?
You saw Elon Musk is about to release one of those.
Yeah, right. Seriously. And then
thing.
And then you have these taller grays, right, which are sentient. They do have souls apparently, and they do kind of like the doctor work. So the grays would take you, they would shuffle you off to this room, they drop you off. Then these taller grays would come in and they would do whatever it is that they're going to do. And in the background, watching all of this is the Mantids, and they're kind of overseeing everything that's happening. Now the Reptilians are a little bit different. They're kind of their own thing. There are cases and claims of people seeing a reptilian, a gray, a mantid all together, because just like us, right? Not all reptilians are bad. Some of them are good, right? Same thing with the different types of grays. Not all of them are awesome, but not all of them are terrible either, right? So
that's new. I never heard nobody say that before.
Yeah, neither have I. That's kind of sketch to me.
Kind of dope, though. I kind of like that. In theory, that would be correct.
You guys are showing your ass.
Well, it challenges our way of thinking, right? Like everybody. I personally like things to be very simple and like you were saying, Chris, like zoom out. Hey, yo, like break it down for me. I do that often when I'm trying to tackle any kind of problem solving thing. But I think this is a puzzle that we are just beginning to open the cellophane around that box. Like we're just, like maybe the picture, but that's a smaller picture than it actually is. Also, it's two-dimensional. So once we pull out the puzzle, there's millions of pieces, and also they're like three-dimensional objects that you have to put together. So,
and then when you start getting into like the MyLab stuff, dude, that's when shit gets just extremely crazy.
Well, can you explain that for the audience? Because the guy I was referring to earlier, that's how his conversation with me started. beyond top secret Texan, great dude, really smart. You got to, take him for what he's saying. I don't try to, go either way. He's my guest. I want to be respectful, but that's what he said he was a part of, My Labs. So what is My Labs?
So one of our good friends, she's one of our best friends in the community, Melinda Leslie. She's one of the leading researchers in My Lab. She has over 35 years researching My Lab specifically. And what it kind of comes down to is that there's different types of things that happen, right? If you're contacted or you're an abductee, My Lab stands for military abduction. And so contactees will be contacted. They'll have abduction experiences. Then later on, what will happen is a military entity will then abduct you as well. And they will want to know, what did the craft look like? Were you able to touch anything? Did they say anything to you? Did they show you any objects, any writing? They want to know, like, what the fuck happened when you were up there, right? So they'll do a lot of interrogation,
like Men in Black types,
try and figure out kind of what's going on with you. Now, some of these people, this happens to men and women, have claimed to have been taken by My Labs, and sometimes, in some cases, they are working hand in hand with ETs. So there are occasions where, they will see grays standing around them at a table, and while they're looking off in the distance, they'll see a military man, looks human. He's wearing a military uniform. He might have like a clipboard, maybe like a face mask on, sometimes not. It just kind of depends. They'll be like taking, notes and stuff, and then they'll leave the room. But there's multiple human personnel in this building walking around, but there's also ETs in this building walking around. Now, this is where we get into that positive and negative ET thing. Like, I mean, if they can do all this other stuff, they have the free will to like be on a team if they want it to be, So the idea is that there is some sort of covert operation happening against abductees in order to gain information. And this is all done in secrecy. Instead of saying, hey, look, my name is Jeff. I work for the CIA. We're trying to collect intel on abductees. We want to take this serious. Would you like to sit down and have a conversation? That's not what happens. Back in the day, they were like, we don't know anything. You're all fucking crazy. Stop talking about it. Now it's like, we all know the bare minimum. There's something flying in the sky. We don't want to talk about it, right? Like, that's like the new paradigm that they shifted to. But now, so like back in the day when it was off the books, hush, hush, don't you open your mouth, right? It's not like you can go as a government entity or a special program that's contracted out by the government to go collect information and be like, hey, are you into aliens? No, they'd have to come and fucking break in your house while you were sleeping, inject you with some serum, drag your ass out, take you to a facility that's maybe a mile away. Who knows? Could be underground, could be in the back of a moving truck. It could be anywhere, and they could be interrogating you. They could be saying all kinds of stuff, and this is something that they've been investigating for a really long time. And she's got a lot of really, really good information on this stuff. And it gets kind of scary because there's a story where she is in this chair. And all of a sudden they're asking her information and she's saying, I don't know. She's flustered. She's not exactly sure what's happening. And they said, well, bring him in. And so a reptilian apparently walks in. A reptilian grabs her and starts ripping her body apart. Right. And she realizes that, wait a second, this doesn't hurt. This doesn't hurt. Why doesn't this hurt? So then she immediately realizes this is a screen. They're putting this as a memory in my head. They want me to see this, right? So the screen memory fades away, and the military man that's standing in front of her says, if you don't answer us the next time, it'll be real, right? So you start getting these stories of like reptilians and ET interference and military guys that are all connected. These women, they come home and they've got like syringe holes in their arms and in their legs. There's bruises all over their bodies,
They're doing dope and they're fucking imagining.
tripping their fucking
It's
balls.
possible.
What are you talking about, dog?
Chris,
It's possible.
Good fucking
Chris,
car
these are
shit.
Chris.
Fucking off the space came back.
Chris, these are stand-up people. How dare you?
Yo, beam me up. Ah.
And maybe out there
No, what do you
in
think the
godless
percentage are
Portland,
of
where
people
you
that
are.
Just do drug. What do you think the percentage are of the people that's out there actually just fucking drunk, or they actually just fell asleep at the wheel, or you know what I'm saying? Because there is. You said, hey, you said there's good and bad. So that means there's good Sasquatches, bad Sasquatches, all of the above. How much of this shit is full bullshit?
I mean, 99% of it could be full bullshit. All it takes is 1% to be real.
I totally agree.
Damn.
I totally agree.
Fuck, Chris.
But people got imaginations, bro. Like
They do. No, I completely agree. And that's the hardest thing when you're dealing with this subject, you know? But when you start to talk, man, dude, like, I don't know, like, you know, when you talk to like a vet who was like in Fallujah or some shit,
yeah.
they got that fucking dead stare. Like it's just something about them, dude.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
people, like, when they talk to you, they have like a like, I don't know, it's either the best acting I've ever seen, right? Or there's something going on with them. And then there's people who also tell stories that are just like, yeah, and then like fucking blah 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 and this, and you're like,
Mars, and I was fucking like super. It was fun and shit.
like, that's why I wear this pyramid on my head now, right? And it's like a real big show. But then you get to these people who don't even want to talk like to the public, and they're just like, fuck, like, I know that you guys are into this, and I kind of wanted to say something, but like, even talking to you, I feel like a fucking nutball, right? You get those people.
Chris
Super
does that
interesting,
to
because then
everybody.
Those are like the ones that I would be, because like, dude, listen, man, if you're out there selling, you know what it is. You got a fucking book, you got something going on, you got to
Yeah.
sell something. You're a fucking salesman for a reason,
Yeah.
right? But if you're the guy that's like, yo, dude, like, I got fucking abducted, homie. I live in a motherfucking log cabin. I ain't fucking with nobody, and don't come on my land.
Yeah, it's
That
surprising
guy-
how. Oh, sorry. Well, I was gonna say it's surprising how many emails we get just saying, "Hey, I don't want to come on the show. I enjoy the show. Y'all are, we have a good time. Y'all don't take it too seriously, and it makes me feel better about my experience. And those are really heartwarming. And then it gets really dark. It's like, hey, I just need to tell you my story. Here's I mean, we can write a book out of some of this stuff, and it's just like, man, I really appreciate just connecting with those people, and it gives me chills just thinking about some of those stories that people have reached out to that we'll never be able to tell those stories, because they're like, yo, I just wanted y'all to know that y'all are on something on this episode specifically, like just needed to tell somebody, don't want to be on your show, but just right. Reaching out,
Here.
those are cool.
Here's the thing, though, because it goes back to what we talked about at the beginning of the show, where, we talked about the brain and the vat jar and them implanting these memories. Reality is subjective, right? Your reality is your reality. So maybe to them, that was real at that point in time. And you have those people, the people who make shit up, right? Because, they want the attention or whatever it is. But then, like how you said, you have these people who don't even want to talk about it. They're traumatized. Like, oh, fuck this, because to them, one of the Hermetic principles, right? All is mind, like, whatever, as above, so below. So at the same time, you have to understand that a lot of this stuff, we talked about Crowley saying like maybe ayahuasca was his psyche talking to him. Maybe to him, he was talking to another entity, even if it was some, subconscious of himself.
Right.
These people are encountering these actual maybe thought forms of their subconscious, right? You have Carl Jung talking about this sort of shit as well. So I think, it is real to whoever it happened, to whatever it is, your reality is your reality. And if you don't want to believe it, then,
Well, and it's full circle to what we were saying before with, with intention and going out and certain people are maybe magnetically attracting these kind of experiences. But I'd hate to find out that I've magnetically attracted something as terrifying as a MyLab incident, right? I mean, geez, I don't want a screen memory, even if it's just a screen memory, like it sounds terrifying.
And the screen memory stuff it's interesting because, like, yeah, in that scenario, it's terrifying. Ben has a longtime friend of the family, who's like really old now, but she was saying when she was younger, she actually had like a couple strange experiences, but one of the experiences was she heard a knock on her door, like in her house. Ben, your headphones are off. I'm telling the story.
Okay, I'll be right back. I just got pee ready.
Oh, go for it, dude. So she was like, in my room, I had a door that led to the outside. Well, I heard a knock on the door one evening, and I opened the door, and when I did, it was these 3 boys from school. And it was really strange because, like I knew them, but like we weren't friends, and they were asking me what I was doing, if I wanted to come out with them that evening. And I think at this time she was like 12, she said. She was like, it was just really weird. And it was weird because all I remember is like midway up their tummies, like their stomachs up to their head. And they were wearing clothes that I remember them wearing like 3 years ago. She was like, it was just really strange. Well, then later on in her life, she had another experience where she woke up and she started walking down the hallway, and all of a sudden there was this tall, light being, and it pointed something at her, and all of a sudden, she said it hit her in the head, and she woke up the next morning, and there was a tiny little scoop out of her head. And to this day, she still has the tiny little scoop. Now, a lot of abductees will have little things like that happen to them. They will have little scoop marks, little triangle marks on their bodies. Sometimes if you put a black light up to them, you can actually see prints. You can see implants. You can see all kinds of strange stuff. They'll come up under black lights.
Yeah.
What's the triangle mark?
The triangle mark is like 3 little dots in a triangle, and they're really close together, and you usually find them under the arms or near the inner thighs, sometimes up in the hip area. On women, you'll
almost
see them.
like they're plugging a wire into you or something and pulling energy out, or
it might be a sedative, like I said, like we're thinking of aliens and we think like, oh, they just got these mind powers, but like they get you and they probably pump you full of drugs. They're using a technology we're just not aware of. In the case of like the whole people seeing this blue light surrounding UFOs and stuff. Well, there's been studies done at like Harvard and stuff that have been done that has stated that this blue light, when it fires, it runs on the same blue light wave spectrum that every time the brain fires a synopsis to think, it runs on the exact same frequency, the exact same color, the light wave spectrum, everything. So when people will say, I saw a craft and they were telepathically communicating to me, it may not have been telepathic. They were probably using like a super powered like Wi-Fi to like transmit information to your head. Like I said, we as human beings have lasers and shit that can already make you hear things just by syncing up with your brain waves. These craft are no different. They're using a technology that just isn't accessible to the rest of society yet. You know what I'm saying? And so for us, it's magic. It's something unbelievable. They telepathically communicated with me when really maybe they were wearing a wristwatch,
right?
Something that's able to contact with you.
Arthur C. Clarke.
The internet, they say like, oh man, like the internet was crazy, right? But the thing that like pumped all the money into it and they ran the cables, they were like, it was porn, right? It was the porn industry. So wouldn't you think like at some point, like people would just be getting the most filthy dreams and they'd be like, yo, we're going to string out these humans on pussy or whatever. You know what I mean? You'd weaponize it, you know what I mean? In some type of way, you know what I'm saying?
It's possible, man. It's possible, but is what makes porn interesting. You think about it, like, it's something that you do in private, like, right? You're on your computer or like you're on your phone. It's that whole sense of like maybe getting caught or like watching it with somebody that you like. You know what I'm saying?
Jerking it in front of my neighbor.
Some people are like that, right? Some people are like that. But the reason it's fun is because there's a certain kind of taboo about it, right? That's what makes it fun. Well, imagine if you're a civilization that has a hive mind, right? Everybody's just thinking of porn all fucking day. Then like, how are you going to get anything done, right? If you decide you want to commit a crime, like there wouldn't be premeditated murder because everybody has a hive mind. We already know what you're going to do. You can't think I'm going to go home and jack off because everybody knows that's what you're going to go do. And hive mind, you start to lose those types of qualities, negative qualities that pop up in the human brain because you're able to keep it private and to yourself. Right. What happens in a society where you can no longer keep your thoughts private?
And you brought this up on that episode I keep referencing. Great episode. I highly recommend anyone tuning into this just immediately go over and listen to that after you listen to our Patreon episode. But enough about that. On the subject of porn, I have to bring this up since we came back to this. Why are there so many uncircumcised, or why are there so many circumcised penises in porn if that's a religious thing, right? What does that say about religion if all of these people are, anyways, enough.
It's a taboo that criminalizes and makes sex nasty. That's why.
Right.
Get into it,
bro.
Right. Right. But if you were to take over an entire population, you would go straight to the root, which is the root chakra, the sacral chakra.
The sacred chakra, bro. I'm telling you, bro. And I want to touch on something real quick because, right, we know about Admiral Byrd, we know about Forrestal, right, which a lot of people disregard Forrestal because they focus on the bird, right? They focus on the high jump and the hollow earth and all this shit, right? What do you guys think? Because this is around the same time with the treaty that's allegedly Eisenhower signed with the extraterrestrials when it comes to this, because I mean, after, we have Roswell a little bit, before that, 47, 48, whatever year that was. And then, we have the Admiral Byrd high jump and then some shit happened, the Nazis and all this stuff. And it's like, oh, he signed a treaty with these extraterrestrials and it's okay to experiment on a portion of the population, just leave the other one. Do you guys think that's real? Do you guys think it's bullshit, or what do you guys think about that?
I would love to believe that that's real because it would solve so many problems. It would solve so many issues, so many questions.
It would be the answer to a lot of questions. It would make things very like, oh, that makes sense. Yep. All right. I get it. I mean, right, Joe, American Horror Story is a perfect depiction of exactly this.
That's exactly what everybody wants, right? Yeah, that the latest season of American Horror Story was pretty good. Do I believe that story happened? I think maybe 15% of it happened and the rest of it is folklore. But do I believe that our government has had zero contact with any sort of other type of civilization? Absolutely not. I think we definitely have had contact with somebody,
And I think we, over the years, this is just pure speculation. But I think over the years, we used to get a little, hey, here's some technology and trade for that concept of a trade off of technology versus, okay, well, if you give us some good technology, you can experiment on X amount of humans a year and just don't tell us about it. So it's plausible deniability. And I think maybe that contract has been fizzling out, and this is where we see it popping up in the news again, because we're poking the bear a little bit like, hey, where's the new shit? Like, we got cell phones, we got iPods.
Right.
Those were cool, but like, I wonder what's next.
I almost feel like
because it ain't
the stuff that's going on
segues.
now is like the modern day Roswell, right? Because there's another theory about Roswell that like fucking like shakes me to my core, which is like even scarier and more fucked up than it just being aliens and your government covering it up. Like the idea that back in the day that they were trying to actually test how atmospheric pressure works because they were already planning on going to space. If you look at Project Horizons in 1952, they had already decided that before the 60s even hit, they wanted to be launching 62 rockets into outer space, right? Did that happen? Maybe that's where that other secret space program came from, because we didn't launch anything until 69. If we even launched anything in 69. And I do believe that we have been, but wasn't it 69? Fuck if I know. But the other theory behind Roswell is the fact that like us and other governments were testing high altitude balloons and certain craft that could go into high altitudes. And at the time, you would have a lot of like orphans and like special needs children and people who got dropped off in these insane asylums and just basically left and forgot and left to rot for the rest of their lives. And so what they would do is that they would sometimes come by and they would pick up these kids and they would send them up in high altitude balloons. And then when they would land, they would look at the human body and see what happens to the human body. So it just so happened that maybe in that time period that they were doing that and a balloon crashed out there and they needed to go out and find out where the fuck it landed because everybody was going to find out on the news. And that's why they had 3 small caskets. It wasn't for 3 alien bodies, but maybe it was for 3 human children bodies that they were doing live testing on that nobody cared about, you know, which is more fucked up than just aliens landing, crashing in a flying saucer, you know? And so that, if that was on my watch, my first inclination would be like, tell them it was fucking aliens. I don't care what you say. Tell them it was a spaceship from Mars. I don't give a goddamn what you say.
I wouldn't tell them. Just don't tell them the truth.
And so the news came out and they were like, you know, a saucer crash in Roswell, New Mexico, 1947. And then the government was like, fuck, that was a stupid story. Okay, let's try something else. Weather balloon. Let's just go weather balloon. That way they don't know we murdered little kids and that there's not aliens and secret technology. Like we got to cover this shit up, right? So it seemed like it could have been just like a big fuck up PR nightmare on there.
Well, to bring it
to figure out what to do with it. Now, I'm not saying that that's correct. Yeah, 3 alien bodies totally could have crashed in a spaceship in Roswell, New Mexico. Yeah, I'm all on board with that. But like, we also have to look at these other things going on. Like, damn, did they do something like that? Because that's more fucked up, right?
Well, and to bring it back to, because you're bringing up durables and balloons and stuff. I mean, dirigibles. Thank you, Chris. To bring it back to I forgot his name, but it was like the first person you mentioned when we were talking about the secret space program, and you mentioned how he tracks the aircraft and he's sort of like, he believes the secret space program exists, but is, you know, maybe the most grounded person researching it. It reminded me of breakaway civilizations and Walter Bosley's work, and like how he described that where they were at with weather balloon technology in the 1850s, you know, over the course of 100 years going over to Roswell, they could have been advanced enough with their flying technology to have something that resembled a saucer. Maybe they were still using balloons, but there's a great case to be made that, you know, maybe that had something to do with it. There was, you know, some kind of breakaway civilization they were trying to cover up.
Yeah, one of the greatest things that he said that like really opened my mind to the idea, like Michael Schratt is the guy you listen to if like you're like, okay, I want to get into the human side of this. Like if you don't want to think everything is aliens and you kind of want to like break into that, what can humans actually do? Michael Schratt is phenomenal, dude. I swear to God, like we had him on the show. Y'all can go check it out on UFO Garage Podcast with Michael Schratt. The dude's amazing, right? But one of the coolest things that he was talking about was back in the 1800s when there was a mysterious airship wave over the United States. In the 1800s, there was a massive amount of reportings of these airships that were flying through the air. We have one here in Aurora, Texas, 1897, the Great Airship of Texas. I think it was 1897, somewhere around there. I'm not too far off. But one of the things that he was saying, there you go. Yeah. One of the things he was saying is that in one of these towns, an air balloon came over the town, and in the balloon, they dropped these ropes down. Now, men came down with rose-colored glasses. They were men. They came down. There was dogs barking up on the deck, and they were asking for water.
And they were partying. And like clinking glasses and drinking champagne.
Right? And this is back in the 1800s. So they go back up into the ship and they leave. And this ship is depicted as like the hull of a ship with like these giant bat-looking wings. It's got these massive spotlights on it, ropes off the sides. So this is something that seems like it would be a little bit more human created. But if we're talking in the 1800s, what was happening in the late 1800s, right? It was the gold rush. And so all the railroads and things like that weren't 100% built yet. So what's the fastest way to get gold from the West Coast over to the East Coast? You fly that shit, right? So there was a group of scientists who got together and figured out how to fly some shit before anybody else did. So if we're talking about the same guys that figured out how to fly gold from the West Coast to the East Coast and within a day, and they figured out how to fly in the late 1800s, those guys probably figured out how to launch a rocket to the moon by the 40s.
Dude, that sounds like Wild Wild West with Will Smith.
Exactly what we thought.
Wow,
Those
West.
people, being NASA, the CIA, those are the breakaway civilizations. Now, they may not always agree, right? But those guys kind of are the breakaway civilizations. They're so compartmentalized, so far down that you would never find the end of it.
Right.
One thing to add really quick before we get into, the year that this was popular, if this theory and these stories are correct, where I see some validity in it is shortly after is the Industrial Revolution with the combustible car engine and train, all those stuff, very slow as far as moving stuff from one place to the other, but very profitable. What isn't profitable is something that's fast, cheap, and reliable. If you want to make money, you just don't make things that are fast, cheap, and reliable. That's just plain business. So, so it makes sense that wouldn't be in the public.
And if the government does know about a secret space program, right? They won't talk about it because it's plausible deniability. If we have things that are able to run on ion drives and things that are able to just like skip the atmosphere and fucking basically teleport up somewhere, or that can safely make it into space, like if people have been doing this for a long time, that's plausible deniability, right? Because we've had a couple space shuttles explode, right? So that is now, they're complacent, right? That's a crime. If you know that there's something else that works better and you personally put human lives on a massive bomb and try to shoot it up into space, now you're a criminal, right? Everybody who's in these networks are now criminals because they knew about it ahead of time. If there is a space program, we have pilots, we have human beings dying in airplanes, getting shot down. We have space astronauts that are exploding. Like, if there's something better, why aren't you using it? Because that's going to be the next question. When we find out that there is a secret space program, if there is, the next question is to be like, why the fuck aren't the rest of us using that? And why are people dying in air travel, right? So that's corporations, that's government, that's a lot of people that are going to be in some trouble, right?
Right.
But the shitty thing is even if we do find out, none of those people will be held accountable.
Right. Wow.
You think there's Bill and Ted like excellent adventure like style phone booth out there?
Fucking guy.
I hope so. I hope to God there is.
Who's to say I don't have one right now?
Well, you're coming as a Rufus, dude.
Dude, you sounded like a French cat.
All right.
Well, boys, I think that was
Let me
amazing, right?
thank you, Juan. And let me just say, first of all, your podcast is fantastic. This podcast was I think it was our best episode yet. So thank you guys so much. This was so much fun. But real quick, if I ever have any shot at being on your show, it sounds like I have to have like some kind of experience, a UFO experience. So let the audience know. Maybe, okay, play along. Where's the most likely spot on the earth where someone, in your opinion, will run into a UFO? Is there a hot spot? Am I just totally asking a dumb question? But if somebody wants to see a UFO, where would you recommend they go?
This guy.
First off, I want to say, dude, this is like the most fun we've ever had on anyone else's show. Like, it's usually just me and Joe trying not to be awkward, but you guys are funny. Like, I've had the funnest time. Thank you for having us.
Matched wavelengths for sure.
We got to have the same crew on our show. We have to make that happen. Like,
Let's do it.
But it's funny you bring that up because we just were, Joe and I were just talking about this a few days ago. Like, I told the story about my family. My uncle is a police officer. He came across this manatee after a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, south of Houston. And it was like this thing, like it was like folklore. Oh yeah, we see there's like a pod of manatee that live in the Gulf of Mexico. And it's like this thing that's been around for years. But it turns out, no, that they don't live there. They're just escaping their hurricane from Florida, and they just follow the Gulf Coast. Like, you have to go where the manatees actually live to see the manatees. You don't just go to the Gulf Coast hoping to see this elusive pod that maybe lives there. So I love that question. Like, where do you go to see UFOs? So that's all, just to give some color to my answer is, you go where the ley lines are. And Sedona, Arizona is one of those places. Another place is in your backyard. I think you can make your own ley line if you have the right intention and the right centered, I guess, frame of mind. Like, you can't just go out in your backyard and like expect to see UFO with a camera in your hand.
You also have to have military grade night vision goggles.
Be uncircumcised, right? What's the ratio to circumcised versus uncircumcised abductees? Is that a?
Well, it depends on how many Cheerios you can hide in the pocket, dude.
Fucking Skittles. What's
Oh,
that one
man.
toy where you lift up the head and the fucking
Pez.
Pez?
Spencer, yeah.
He said that already, Juan. Jeez. All right, gentlemen, so much fun. Yes, and yes, we would love to do a show whenever and any time in the future, because this was fun. Great answer, because ley lines, I mean, I don't know how much of my show you listen to, but personal favorite topic, ley lines. And I do like that idea that maybe the five of us here in our own separate locations created some kind of ley line network connecting us all. So if you're in Kansas, like I said, and you're in the middle, go outside and look for UFOs, because you're at the intersection. They're going to likely be there. But anyways, tell the folks where they can go to find your show, how they can support, all that good stuff. And yeah, that's Illuminati confirmed. You gentlemen have been confirmed. It's sad that Juan is in Miami for this episode and doesn't have his soundboard, because normally he's like this guy. He's doing that all episode. So
Not
yeah.
as gay as Mark, but I'm a soundboard guy.
That's awesome.
I have one.
Let him know.
Too. Kid's got a pull it.
There we go. You guys,
Well, that's one of them all. The horn?
dude,
Gotta have it. We gotta have it.
we got to get something like that.
Okay.
Not like that one.
Man, you can find us at UFOGaragePodcast.com. Come over there, check us out. We've got all the episodes. I mean, you can find us anywhere that you stream podcasts. Right now, we've got a cool thing going on where anytime you buy some UFO Garage merch, 20% of it gets donated back into the community to whoever needs some help. Right now, we're helping out Anomaly Archives. Actually, that's done. We got to write him a check, but we are going to be helping somebody else out here pretty soon. The last one we did was Anomaly Archives, cool place here in Austin. They during COVID, rent spiked, everything shut down. They're a nonprofit, so they're looking for a home, and that's what we did this last quarter, was try and raise some money for them. So yeah, anytime you guys come over and help us out, we're always helping to throw back into the community. So come check us out, UFO Garage Podcast. Woo!
I love it. I love it.
Thank you so much again, man. This was great. Great meeting all of you guys.
Heck yeah.
UFOGaragePodcast.com or UFOGarage.com.
UFOGaragePodcast.com.
I love it.
The UFO Garage one, it was expensive. So added the podcast part.
Well, I think that's an actual business somewhere on one of the moons of Jupiter. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for listening, and be sure to go and subscribe to UFO Garage Podcast wherever you're listening to Illuminati Confirmed. You have been confirmed.
Black. That means you say you have to do 1,200 jacket, 300 small, 300 medium, 300 large, 300 extra large, just to fulfill orders for a basic size run. 1,200 jackets at $40 a jacket. You do the math. It's like $65,000, right? Something like that, right? It's a lot of bread. Minimum to do factory order, one style, one colorway, $65,000, right? You can see how garment production gets skyrocketing, right? And what you know is about business, they have nepotism. So people get job because that's my daddy and he gave me the job, right? So it's all about context and all that shit. So for me, I went over there and I got shithouse drunk with these guys, these Chinese guys. Before you knew it, at the end of the night, they got their arm around me and they tell me, I love you. You're my brother. And I have no minimums with China from that point on. So, being myself and being a fucking, and I can't, like I said, I can't, it's the only thing, it's the only currency I have. You know what I mean? At some level, it's like, that's what we're selling. We're selling our 3 opinions bouncing off of these people.
Right.
So it's weird sometimes because I hear people like, I don't know, you see it sometimes. Sometimes you'll see people that wear clothes and it don't look right on them. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't ever want to be perceived as that person. Yeah, sometimes I am kind of lit on here, but fuck it, you know? What else we doing?
Not at all, dude. I totally see you in China doing that. Like
100%.
That's how you excel at business. And so many people try to phony themselves into being good at business and they fail.
No, bro. Being, you know, my mom always said, man, it's like get more bees with honey. You know what I'm saying? Just be nice to motherfuckers. Doesn't mean, you know, nice doesn't, and you know, the way to pose these questions, you know, it's not nice unless you're lying. And, you know what I mean? It's only rude if you're making things up. If not, man, you should be able to double dutch your way right into that question and answer it with confidence, you know? I mean, shit.
Right.
You know, so it's like, even when you were like, yo, do you guys have any? He was like, yeah, actually, I went outside and I saw some orange, you know, orbs go over the, you know, like, all right, cool. That's dope. You know, I fuck with that.
Right.
Oh, this is going to be amazing. You're doing it in real time.
Doesn't this look kind of gay though? Like I'm like cutting Nicolas Cage's mouth. Like, where am I going to put this?
Yo, Juan is going to come back hard as a rock.
Dude, Juan is going to be like, yo, can you send me that JPEG? Oh shit, I fucked it up.
Yo, the only time I ever saw a UFO was in Barcelona one time. And we were about to get jumped by these people. And we all looked weird because we were all staring up at the sky. I think they were like, look at these tourist motherfuckers. Huh. And we were like bugging because we're like, yo, that thing ain't moving right, you know?
Yeah.
And, yeah, and then we got out of it somehow. I don't even know, really.
What do you mean real time?
What do you mean?
You're like, you're doing this in real time. Yeah, well, I'm not going to wait till tomorrow.
No, I mean with the, like, I guess screen sharing. I guess you know.
Right.
No. I'm not that computer savvy, dude.
That's all right. I'm learning.
I also, when I was a kid, thought that like it might go away. Like
you're like,
might not be a thing.
Not gonna last
like,
forever.
What, you know? I was like, I don't.
Not gonna last forever. 70 years
like,
later.
Like that'll only be around for a little while.
No, it's like, yeah, it's not gonna be around forever, and then it's like 70 years later, and you're like in a sci-fi. You're like, holy, you're like hooked up to.
Imagine if you could have bought stock in hip hop. You know, and you could at some level. You could buy like,
bro,
Tommy Boy or EMI or you know.
Dude, somebody just dropped some real knowledge in the Telegram chat the other day.
No,
they were like hip. They broke down hip hop. They were like hip, being up on what's going on, and then hop, the movement. And I was like, holy shit, the movement of being ahead of the curve. Like that's what hip hop means. I never thought of that. I thought it was like a hip, a hop, a hippity, a hippity. Like I thought like it was just like a pantomime.
Wait, are you familiar with KRS-One? Do you know about any of that stuff?
Yeah, I used to listen to him.
But have you ever listened to his Temple of Hip Hop?
I've probably heard a song off of it, but my music, like you come from the generation of like buy a CD and listen to every song. I come from the generation of like pick and choose the top songs. So it's a little like I heard KRS-One, but I heard him through like algorithms.
No, I hear you. But what I'm telling you is you need to check out
Temple of Hip Hop.
Well, Temple of Hip Hop is his school, his like esoteric school.
Oh, he teaches like online courses or something?
He's not a Mason, but he says that he's like revered as a 33rd honorary degree.
like Manly P. Hall.
And he's talked about it endlessly in YouTube videos, and they're incredible. Oh, dude. Yeah, you gotta move it a little bit. Wait, down, straight down, straight down, straight. No. The other way. Back where it was. No, the other way. Stop. Down, straight down.
I know.
Straight.
Okay, hold on. It looks like he has a Hitler mustache.
It looks like Hitler, yeah.
Juan will get so mad if he sees this.
Dude, Juan's gonna be so jealous, dude. Bingo, dude. Amazing.
I can't believe how easy that was, dude. What the hell? That's so funny.
Seriously.
The only problem is I can't see you guys.
Do you think he looks like he ate you, dude? You're trying to get back out, dude.
Oh my God.
That was fantastic.
Dude, we need to do every episode with this, the intro. Like, I'll just come up with different, like, faces and just...
Yeah.
Holy shit, this is hilarious. Can you see my mouth moving? Is that...
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, I gotta cut an eye hole out so I can actually see what I'm doing.
Yeah, put the eye hole where the nostrils are, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this, how big this chip is. This thing's amazing.
Okay, it's kind of enough to see.
Well, it's gonna be so jealous, dude. What do you think this guy's doing? Eating peanut butter or something, dude? What do you think he's doing, dude?
I don't know. He's... Yeah, he's eating peanut butter. He's eating some ass peanut butter. I got one more idea to make this complete. I'm gonna like use a coat hanger and extend the head.
Wait, okay. I can't wait to see.
My son, you're here. My son, you made it. I love you, my son.
The fuck is this?
Weston, it's so good to see you.
Oh, that fucking KFC was bomb.
I knew it was some shit like that.
Did you drive to KFC?
No, my girl's mama picked up some KFC on the way home.
She's a keeper.
Very underwhelming reaction to this hilarious thing that I just spent a lot of time setting up.
No, I think it's fucking great, bro. I think they did a great job.
Well, we're gonna like blow up on YouTube once people see this, dude.
The
Oh my God, this is gonna be so good. Who knows, huh?
Anyways, that's good enough. I'll fix it later.
Yeah, let's record this shit, man. Old chicken eating one.
Time's a ticking.
Oh, we're already recording. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are on Illuminati Confirmed. Wrapping up. For the first time, we did an intro as an intro. We actually did a real intro for this podcast. So this is the real outro for this podcast. What's going on, Juan? What'd you think of Joe and Ben?
I told you these guys were going to be great. I mean, their energy when I was listening to their shows, good. Their dynamic is good. They're funny guys. So, I mean, we're fucking awesome. So I think It went great. You know, I think it was fucking amazing episode.
Agreed. Chris, what do you think?
Exactly what Juan said.
Come on, Chris. You got to say more than that. You got to give us more than that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, they were good, man. They were fun to talk to, and it's like, I don't know, dude. Fuck, man. They were like regular, so that's rad. Sometimes motherfuckers ain't regular and try to be up on a high horse and shit and try to like not talk to you regular, and they try to hide behind words. And at least you could like pin them down, be like, hey, what happened? They'd be like, yo, listen, I seen that fucking UFO ball lightning thing, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. Okay, cool. Moving on. What else? Oh, well, this guy says this, and all right, cool. It was cool because it's not like, I don't think they were married to any of it, but I think they're like, this is all the shit that we've been hearing. Right. Take it for what it's worth, and I will have to agree with that point of view, unless I misunderstood. If it's possible.
No, I think they were pretty down to, no pun intended, down to earth. You know what I mean? Talking about aliens and shit. And I enjoy talking about extraterrestrials and these things. It was one of the first things that I really got into. I think we should have a Bigfoot guy on next, bro.
Yo. Yes. How come I haven't done any movies about Bigfoot yet?
Movies? Oh, fucking guy.
What are you talking about, man?
Nick Cage, bro.
I'm Nicolas Cage. Show some fucking respect, Chris.
Oh, I forgot, dude. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you do a better Nicolas Cage impression than this?
It's literally not possible.
I can't, yeah. Anton does a pretty decent one. I'm Nicolas Cage, you know what I mean? All that shit. Have you seen the movie yet, Mark?
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent? Yeah, I've seen it. It's great. And I've seen Sasquatch too. I actually paid him to have sex with my ex-wife.
Oh man, Sasquatch is a full homunculi, but he's also a cuck.
Sasquatch is definitely not a cuck. I was the cuck. It was great.
Have you guys seen Prime? I think it's called Primal or...
Primal, yeah, that's how I get every set. I tell the director, listen, if I don't have only green M&Ms, I'm gonna go primal.
No, but Bigfoot like has sex with a chick. I mean, he rapes her pretty much.
Who?
In that movie, Primal.
Oh wow.
Bigfoot rapes a bitch in the woods. She's just out walking. She gets raped by Bigfoot.
In his hut, yeah. I'm gonna look it up for you right now.
Is that?
This is like Brokeback, but with like Sasquatch.
It's called. I'll tell you right now.
I never saw that.
It's Hollywood. There's no laws. There's no own police department in Hollywood. I used to work there.
It's called Primal.
They gave me a ride along.
Dude, your fucking background is disturbing, Juan.
I know.
Yeah, who is that guy? Who is that Herb?
You like that? That's some noob, some podcasting noob that.
He looks like a C-list actor. At least I'm a B-list actor.
Hey, Nicolas Cage, what'd you think, you son of a bitch?
It's great. They could write a movie, these guys. I'll star in it.
They are writing a movie, dude.
Yeah, what's it about?
Bro,
Send me a script.
Documentary.
Send me a script. I've acted in everything. All right, I lost the Nicolas Cage accent. We're going to change it up.
You can't even see.
You ain't got no motherfucker.
That was a good impression. Give me some credit.
Primal rage, bitch.
Anyways.
No, but I had fun, dude. I thought it was a lot of fun. And I think we should do more. I think we should have a Bigfoot guy. I want to talk to a Bigfoot expert.
Can you guys give me some credit for that podcast magic there, though? I mean, that was kind of cool. I did not expect it to go that fun, and I just kind of hit you up today and said, hey, can you guys do this? So that was pretty.
Nothing new there, dude. I mean, that's literally Mark. I mean, he's like 2 minutes before an episode, hey, dude, you want to fucking jump on a fucking podcast for
hey, it's supposed to be for my family thinks I'm crazy, but we can make it Illuminati confirmed. Yeah.
And then you complain that you don't have enough episodes for your fucking regular show.
No, I complained about that for 1 week because I moved to a new apartment. That's all.
All right, just making sure, because he's blaming us, Chris. He's like, I'm fucking focusing all my energy on Illuminati confirmed and not focusing enough on my
I never once said that.
I heard you, bro.
That's
He's like, the show's
hilarious.
bigger than my show already, and I'm fucking like that shit. So
Wow. Blasphemy. That's libel. I should call Joe and Ben and see if they have any UFO lawyers I could fucking sue you with.
Mark had to take his time to get his layer right. You know what I mean? He's like, look at it. I mean, it is like an orgy for hippies in that place, dude. It's more fucking materials on the wall and research, you know what I mean? Equipment in the form of books and, feathers for tickling feet and whatnot,
Listen,
I see what's happening, bro. I got you, dog.
the feathers keep me in connection with my guides.
Who are they?
And the hippie decor just keeps all the bohemian bitches around.
You know what I'm saying? What? Yo, fabric, everything, son. I love it, dude. It gives off a good vibe, dude. I really, back in the day, they put, what was it? Carpets on the wall to keep your motherfucking house warm.
Right.
You know that?
Yeah,
Motherfucking, you got the goddamn rock walls. You put a big ass like tarp up on the wall, keep that shit warm. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it looks cool. You know what I mean? Only the hippies, only really hippies do it now. You don't see that practice very often. You don't see you go to somebody's house, a very modern aesthetic, and they don't have some big fucking tapestry on the wall, for Christ's sakes. You know what I mean?
right.
yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. I'm an artist, man. You wouldn't get it.
Oh, I get all my decorations from head shops, so.
Yeah, dude, totally. Where do they sell those blue monkeys with 8 arms, dog? Oh man, very specialized stores, man. Like, you gotta get it. Dude, those stores, we have them out here, like dozens of them in Portland, dude. They sell incense and they sell papers and they sell like posters and like little glass pieces and they're great, dude. The head shops out here are extreme, bro.
That's why everyone's homeless. They spend all their money at the head shops.
On deck, dude. Tapestries, bumper stickers for days, dude. Whole books of bumper stickers. Pick out whichever one you want, man. You'd love it out. Mark, get out here, bro. I gotta show you some shit, dude. They got like selection of pins for your jacket like you've never seen before, dude.
Yo, Chris, are you gonna come down for the show or what? What are you gonna do?
I want to come down. Excuse me. I want to come down to Florida for maybe like end of July, like I was saying, but we got to make sure that those, hopefully those dates all line up,
Well, let's make it happen, bro. I'm gonna be with Paranoid American, so let me know if you're gonna come down so we can link up. I'm going for sure. I mean, I have my tickets.
So that's Paranoid American is a podcast that they are gonna be recording live in.
No,
Is it Miami?
Paranoid. It's in Jacksonville, so it's North Florida.
North Florida.
On the East Coast, and
Then
I'm gonna be
Miami?
with Paranoid American, which is one of my co-hosts.
Oh yeah.
He does comic books. He's the comic book publisher.
Right.
He's local to me.
Comic book pusher.
So we're gonna be up there, and I talked to Owen, Bootsy Greenwood. He's in the he's close by. He's in Georgia.
Yeah,
So
Owen's a great guy. I was gonna have him. We got to get him on this show.
Yeah, he's funny. He's great. I love him. So he's close by. He said he might be able to come through because it's a swarm tank. So we get to present our conspiracy, which is what I'm excited about.
Right. And you were gonna propose what conspiracy again?
The lizards of the DMV.
Dude, you're not supposed to say it, dude. Are you?
I mean, unless somebody. I mean, I've already.
Somebody gonna get out in front of you, dog. They're gonna be like $401, motherfucker.
I've already talked about it before on fucking shows too much to.
Yo, look at Mark's new face, though, dude. Oh my God, Mark, you got to get rid of the black part, dude. That is some Alex Jones swag right there. You need your soundboard, Juan. It would be on right now.
Yo, next week I'll be back home next week.
Juan, I have a message for Sam Tripoli. Tell him the marsupials are in danger. They're making the marsupials gay. They killed Steve Irwin. He knew the truth.
Can you clip this for the intro, like the free 5 minutes on the episode?
Clip what? I'll get my Jamie on it. Jamie, get over here. Where's Hibbler? Tell Hibbler I want to touch his nipples again. What's going on? I've been to Bohemian Grove. I've seen it. What do you want to know? I'm here on Illuminati Confirmed.
Yo, is Tara listening to you right now, bro? She's like, what the fuck did I get myself into?
Do you have any questions for Alex Jones while I'm here? I gotta get back to InfoWars.
He's being sued into fucking bankruptcy, isn't he?
Is that right?
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all propaganda from the demonic Democrats. They're lying to MSNBC. They're telling everybody that I'm wrapped up in these lawsuits. The truth is, I've been to Connecticut. There's a lot of good patriots there, and there's a lot of good help on my side. And everybody's getting up together and supporting us on InfoWars. Get your emergency food kit. We got a 2 years stock of food.
The vitamin D or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, you got to make sure you have vitamin D. See, I haven't had enough vitamin D today. That's why I sound a little off. I have a little bit of a voice problem right now because I haven't had enough vitamin D.
Yo, Juan, you better stop giving your wife that vitamin D, son. You're gonna have more kids, bro.
I heard Miami, you get a lot of that black vitamin D.
No, we talked about it. We're not gonna fucking have any more, bro. It's too rough.
What if you got a girl this time, though?
Juan, you better be careful if you get yourself down there in one of those hospitals down there in Florida. They might give you a vasectomy that they can't reverse. They do that snip snap. And you think the vasectomy is going to be reversed, and they just snip and they snap and they snip. And next thing you know, you're pissing out of your ass cheek.
Damn. Thanks for coming on, Alex. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me, boys.
This is Illuminati Confirmed. This is Alex Jones. This is Mark. Slimy Mark. And this is Juan.
Fucking Christ, bro.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we're going to do that. We're going to do that in the Patreon episodes, probably. Maybe come up with some fun characters. Alex Jones is probably the best impression I could do, unfortunately. So that's as good as it gets, folks. But come on to the Patreon if you want to see Juan and Chris make fun of me some more.
Pretty good, actually.
I can't believe you didn't record when you fucking spilled that juice on your...
I did spill Amazon jungle juice on my Roadcaster. And what's weird is I smell this really weird smell, like plastic burning, like 30, 40 minutes into the interview. And I was like looking at my Roadcaster like, oh my God, what's going to happen? So I think I need to just like go to the Chinese food restaurant and ask them if I could put my Roadcaster in a barrel of rice.
He's gonna put his Roadcaster in
rice.
Yeah, I got to go to my old Chinese food delivery job and be like, Benny, you got a barrel of rice for my Roadcaster?
Dude, it works though. Have you ever did that? It worked on my phone one time. It was
bro,
sick.
that's just a fucking myth, bro. You fucking stupid, dude.
This shit worked on my phone.
It's a Chinese myth, Chris. Do you want me to get Alex Jones back here?
Worked on my phone, bro.
Do we need
called a placebo effect? So you see, placebo.
Wait. Did I imagine where the aliens and I went there and the aliens was there?
Listen, if it was real to you, then more power to you, bro. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your body. You know,
placebo. That's the wrong use of that word.
No. Listen. You fuck. You listen to me.
Placebo.
Listen to me. The placebo effect.
But doesn't happen with mechanical thing like that.
Listen, island boy, you know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you some shit. Listen, the effect that the placebo effect has on people, where it cures them without them actually taking a medicine, that's magic. And that same fucking form that effect that happens is what we need to focus onto the real world. And that's the type of magic that we gotta fucking focus on.
Hey, the rice pulls out moisture from your phone when it's wet.
Bro, I'm gonna Google this shit right now. Hold on.
Wow, that was pretty deep, Juan. I'll give you that.
No, but seriously though, like that effect that the placebo effect has on people, where it cures them without them actually having to go through any treatment, that's magic, and that's what we need to focus. That same effect that gives people is what we have to focus when it comes to.
I agree with that.
Magic. You know what I mean? Like that's the effect we're looking for.
I totally agree here. Yo, do you think if you just thought about like something your whole life that maybe would come true, or do you think there's levels to this shit where it say, yeah, but no matter how much you think about it, you can't never fly?
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like certain things might come true. Like, yeah, you might manifest, say, a partner in life or whatever. I have a friend that told me straight up and down that he manifested his wife. He was
Yeah,
like,
but
I was
that's
in a-
within natural law. Humans aren't naturally designed to fly, right?
I don't think we're naturally designed to fly no more than we're, I think there's a line between humans and marsupials, you know what I mean, too. I think there's like, divisions within labor, sometimes here.
Have you ever seen a marsupial on a plane?
That is a fact that I've never seen a marsupial fly a plane. No, not once.
You know what's really funny about the marsupial joke that I really...
What? Wait, joke?
Yeah, sorry. The marsupial theory that I'm not joking about. When I was a kid, for my birthday party, for like the 12th birthday party, my parents hired this like free-tittied outdoors woman to bring all her Australian outback animals to my house for a party.
3 titties? You can't be like the guest and just skim over shit like that.
Yeah, dude, she had 3 titties, dude.
like the movie, like the movie where they go to Mars, all that.
No, she had like a third nipple on her right breast.
Okay, not actually 3 titties. All right, we had to. Okay.
And we know about this because she wore a very loose Steve Irwin style button-up tan shirt.
And you guys peeped it out. You seen it.
Oh, I mean, all eyes were on that third nip. She had a little sugar glider that almost took a whack at it and tried to suckle. But what's so funny about this was the kangaroo that she brought to my house for my birthday party escaped and ran down the street, right? She brings a kangaroo on a leash to a kid's birthday party, and then this bitch lets it go by accident, and it starts running to a 5-street intersection.
Kangaroo, brother.
Dude, there's a 5-point intersection at the corner of where I grew up.
5 points? How does that work?
There's 3 streets that intersect in one. So it's like one street, another street, and then a third street that comes and meets in the middle. Anyways, so this kangaroo runs towards that intersection, and me and like 8 other 7-year-olds were like running, running 12-year-old, whatever age. I don't remember what age I was, but so I've had some fun with marsupials in my life.
Guys, so this is Patreon, right?
Yeah, we can go to the page now. Thank you so much, folks, for listening to Illuminati Confirmed. If you made it this far without me editing this into the Patreon, well, go over to the Patreon. What the fuck are you waiting for? There's so many amazing conversations where the 3 of us are just coming up with brilliant ideas. So if you want to maybe make millions on Wall Street, or even no, just kidding, or cure your cancer, sign up for the Patreon.